All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good afternoon from wherever part of the world you are catching us from. Welcome to Afrique 24. This is your morning's edition. This is the morning show. I hope you are well. I know God has kept you. Karibu sana. Welcome to this great conversation we are about to have here at Afrique 24. I know you are well. I know this is finding you so well. We have another one. Thank you for joining us this wonderful morning. Tumekuwa nayo show nzuri sana yesterday night. I'm sure you were able to enjoy it. Grab that edition of yesterday ambayo ili happen 10 p.m. Up Africa 24, and I'm sure you will equally enjoy. But hey, again, we have another one this precious morning where we look at news making headlines as well as the newspapers. So karibu sana, welcome so much ladies and gentlemen. I have a good one for you. Ndio tu tumeanza sasa hivi. You haven't missed anything. So karibu sana. We are looking at some of the news making headlines. All right. So Karibu, let us have a nice conversation here at Afrique 24. Karibu sana. All right. It's the morning edition. It's the newspaper review. It's anything that made headlines. That's what we'll be looking at, discussing many issues affecting our country. Karibu tu sana. I hope you are well. Karibu, let me know where this is finding you. Watu wa USA, karibuni. Watu wa UK, karibuni. Watu wa Canada, karibuni. Watu wa hapa home, karibuni. All right. Popote unapotutazama, karibu kwa hii show. This is your fantastic morning edition, and we are looking at the newspaper. This is the morning review. This is the breakfast show. We'll be looking at the newspapers. We'll be looking at the news making headlines. All right. We'll be looking at issues that affect our country. So sit back, relax, enjoy this show, and make sure you follow us through. Ni juzi unatazama ukiwa wapi? Karibu sana, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see many already joining in. Karibu sana, karibu sana. Like the video and as well subscribe to Afrique 24. Let us keep the conversation going. Let us make this happen. All right. You are the people that always make this happen. Nyinyi ni wale ambao huwa mnafanya hii show kuwa jinsi ilivyo. Asante, asante tu sana. We have a great show and I am about to introduce to you other panelists rather who will be joining me for the same. All right. But karibu sana. Jana kulikuwa na statement from Azimio. It's what has informed this show and equally what appears on your daily nations. So kindly subscribe to Afrique 24, follow in the conversation. Here, the conversation never really stops, all right? The conversation here never really truly stops. We only pause but continue therein, okay? Tunaendelea tu punde ambapo tunaweza, all right? So karibu sana kwa hii show. Allow me to introduce to you what is making headlines. Equally, I'll be sharing with you what Raila Odinga in a press statement yesterday was able to say in as far as Azimio is concerned. Just, I think a week ago, we were here talking of the challenges that we thought were there in Azimio. Like anyway, Baba has come out gun blazing saying, you know what, Azimio iko kidete, imesimama vizuri. There are no issues in Azimio. All that was there are media fabricated issues. So he said, Azimio iko gangari, Azimio imesimama tu imara. Listen to this even as we begin this morning conversation. Karibu sana, welcome. Wajuzi wawili watatu kwa kulike hii video, kwa kushare hii video. Wacha hii story ifikie wengi wadau. Wacha wengi waweze kung'amua na kujadili mambo ambayo yanafanyika hapa kupitia wewe kulike hii video. So simply like hii video from whatever platform this is finding you. All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Marches on. The summit, which is the top decision-making organ of Azimio La Umoja, One Kenya Coalition Party, has held a meeting today under the chairmanship of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Being the first this year, the meeting focused on 4 main agenda items, namely review of the previous year, briefing on the government's budget-making process, position on public interest litigation, and the way forward. In attendance, as you can see before you, apart from our leader, we have his deputy, the Honorable Martha Karua, yours truly, Honorable Mwangi Wairia, Honorable Wycliffe Opranya, Honorable Peter Munya, Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, Honorable Nderitu Mreithi, Honorable Wajakoya, and Honorable Opio Wandai. Absent with apology was the Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, who's currently in the Sudan for other engagements, but who spoke to our leader this morning and sent his apologies. And the meeting has gone on with his blessings, and his views have been incorporated in the resolutions that we'll be reading to you shortly. After lengthy deliberation, the summit resolved the following. Azimio remains satisfied with its activities that were able to focus on the excesses of the Kenya Kwanza regime that has made life miserable for the greater majority of Kenyans. Because of Azimio's focus and steadfastness, the cost of living as a government-induced pain is understood to be a direct result of Ruto's policies and not only global environment or previous regime. So this is purely Ruto's failed policies, and it should not be blamed on any global environment or Uhuru Kenyatta's regime almost 2 years later. The coalition is satisfied with the work of standing up for Kenyans and commits to continue holding the regime to account and to put blame where it belongs on areas like the ever-rising taxes, the deteriorating relationship with our neighbors, the rampant corruption in government, the tribalism in public service, the deterioration of the Kenya shilling, and general deterioration of our economy. The Kenya Kwanza regime, and not the people of Kenya, are to blame for these misfortunes that have ended up hurting innocent Kenyans. Azimio deeply regrets the loss of lives during the peaceful protests, continues to hold the government responsible for these needless deaths, and promises that the deaths shall never be in vain. The coalition has weathered several vigorous attempts by the Ruto administration to create disunity and splits in its ranks. Unity is an achievement the coalition will guard jealously to be able to continue fighting for Kenyans as one united front. Because the coalition has been able to stand up and stand together, Kenyans have regained their voice, their courage, and are standing up to the bullies in this regime. Kenyans are standing up in very remote parts of the country to tell off the government on its lies and its insensitivity to the people. We encourage Kenyans to continue manifesting courage and call out this regime. We will stand with all Kenyans expressing such courage and determination to take back our country. The coalition is happy and proud of the performance of its members of parliament and on all critical national issues. When it has mattered, even where the members have been outnumbered, they have expressed themselves clearly and candidly on such issues as the Finance Act 2023, and Kenyans will remember that there were 88 loyal members of Azimio who stood with them, and there are 176 who voted yes, and that is why they are suffering today. Kenyans will remember their voices also of Azimio legislators on the housing levy, on the deployment of the police to Haiti, and the general state of the economy. Over time, we have been vindicated. May I now invite my senior, the Honorable Martha Karua, to read the rest of the statement. Thank you very much.
The summit had a robust discussion on strengthening Azimio and its constituent parties. The coalition partners have been able to agree on fundamental strategies and tactical positions. We agreed that the coalition is only as strong as its constituent parties. The summit, therefore, reaffirmed its commitment to the renewal and strengthening of all the constituent parties through various activities, including members' recruitment drives, delegates' conferences, PGs, and NEC meetings. All constituent parties have committed to pursuing a common program of action that addresses the challenges the country is going through, and that also help to advance and defend the gains of democracy. Azimio remains one and is here to stay, committed to shared values that include accountability, integrity, public participation, good governance, respect for the Constitution and rule of law, social justice, and non-discrimination. On public litigation, the summit agrees that the cases coming up under public interest litigation address fundamental concerns in which Kenyans feel overlooked, mistreated, and ignored by a regime steeped in impunity and unilateral actions. Some of the cases include the Jubilee Party case and the ruling by the Speaker of the National Assembly forming multiple parliamentary groups within this particular political party, that is Jubilee. This is a real threat to the foundations of our attempts to create a strong multi-party democracy. It threatens to return Kenya to a single-party era. The housing levy is a threat to livelihoods and incomes in the same way the plan to unilaterally sell public assets without the participation of the owners who are the people of Kenya. We will stand in solidarity with the petitioners in the public interest litigation cases on these issues. Azimio stands for the rule of law and supports the need for an independent and professional judiciary. Subsequently, we demand that the Kenya Kwanza regime must keep its hands off the judiciary. We take note of the support expressed by the United States government for the Ruto regime to appeal against the ruling on the deployment of police to Haiti. It is our hope that all parties shall respect the independence of the judiciary and that foreign interests will keep off our national affairs. Azimio remains on the way forward. Azimio remains extremely disturbed by the worsening cost of living, the ever-rising and reckless taxes by Zakayo, the collapsing national currency, the chaos in the education sector, the tribalism in public service, and the return of mega corruption. The summit has committed to seek other ways and means to press the regime to listen to the cries of the people. The litigation will only be one such avenue. Other ways are being worked on, whose ultimate goal is to force the regime to be sensitive to the tribulations of the people and to enable the people to take such steps as they may deem necessary, remembering that they have the residual power and sovereignty for the people to be able to rid themselves of this yoke put by the regime. Just like the donkey spoke to Balaam in the Bible, the donkey is now telling Zakayo, enough is enough. We thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
Asanteni
Good
sana.
morning, good afternoon, people from all over. I hope this finds you quite well. I know you are ready for this show. Naona wengi tayari wametune in. Welcome. Asante sana for always keeping us on a high, because whenever we see you watching, we really enjoy that and love that so very much. Asante sana. We appreciate. Thank you and welcome to this morning conversation. I see many equally tuning in from all over. Wacha tukuwe na show moja fiti kwa wewe kupitia kutuma ujumbe na pia kutueleza unatazama ukiwa wapi. Wacha tuwe na show moja nzuri. All right. I'm joined by my co-panelist Mr. G, and we'll be looking at the newspapers and equally what was read as a statement from Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition. All right. Asante sana. I see Goodyear, Asha Jaja. Asante sana. I'm sure you today are feeling all right now that the show is in. Now, all right. I'm sure Goodyear, you are able to see there are some changes, especially hapo chini kwa message. You should read everything that is there because that is what we are working on, so that we are able to capture everything, especially written and issued to the press. All right, so that's what we were working on, among many other things. If you go back equally to the YouTube, the one that you are watching, ukiingia now the summarized stories hapo kwa description, so it's a very comprehensive show. That's what we were working very hard to make sure that that always appear in all our programmings. All right, I know you will appreciate that. Equally helps anyone who cannot be able to read, to follow the wordings, can be able to follow through the text. All right. Thank you very, very much. Mr. G, good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Niko salama. Leo umeninyima kamera na ndio jana ulininight nayo. But uko
No,
vipi lakini?
niko fine.
Karibu sana kwa show. Ah, nice. Naona uko
Niko
kwa job
niko
umejaa vizuri.
okay, confirm kama
All
I'm
right.
really audible because the
Uko
clip ambao
uko
umeplay
uh-huh.
yeah, imekuwa na a lot of difficulties, sijaipata. Imekuwa na a lot of difficulties ikikatakata, so I thought it is my network. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it is on my end, but I'll work on that as well. But uko aje lakini?
No, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Niko poa kabisa.
All right, all right. So what do you make of, I'm sure you are able to see what the coalition read as a statement before even bringing the newspaper. What do you make of the speech from Azimio La Umoja, One Kenya Lands. But let's begin from where Baba began by saying Azimio iko pamoja, iko gangari. There is no splits in Azimio. In fact, they were able to parade all their members, or rather all their officials up on Mbele. Mwangi wa area was present. Jeremiah Kioni, Peter Munya, one Wajakoya was there. The former governor of Kakamega, Opranya, was there. We had Opio Wandai, the leader of minority in parliament, was equally there. Eugene Omalwa and Martha Karua, together, of course, with the principal leader, Raila Odinga, but in absentia was Kalonzo Musyoka, who is in Sudan. What do you make of that statement that Azimio is gangari, given that over the last couple of days, I think even here we discussed it, Azimio seemed to have shaky grounds. But what do you make of that statement, Bwana Mr. G?
Okay, I was one of the guys ambao we had some speculation kuwa there's a problem in
Mm-hmm.
Azimio. By the
Mm-hmm.
time tulianza kuona people are absent kwa meetings, people are absent every time. Wakati walianza, they were
Mm-hmm.
close and they were working together kila wakati. In fact, somebody like
Mm-hmm.
Kioni is a guy ambao for
Mm-hmm.
me, I told that he was living in the house of Raila. Because hata usiku
Mm-hmm.
ungemuona na
Mm-hmm.
Raila, mchana ungemuona na
Mm-hmm.
Raila. Every place Raila alienda, he was
Mm-hmm.
there. But
Mm-hmm.
now we had to speculate because
Yeah,
when
yeah.
something happens ambao haujaelewa what is happening, lazima uta
Mm-hmm.
speculate. But looking
Mm-hmm.
at the body language of these guys yesterday, I think they are
Mm-hmm.
together. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they are together and they are just recreating themselves and then planning on their way forward. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they are all in one accord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, one of the things equally they said is that they're now working very hard to revamp the coalition. They'll be seeking. We are on. They'll be seeking to have what do you call it? Unified efforts to support Peter Munya's party PNU. Ataanza tena kufanya party recruitment across the country, and equally we saw ODM do that. What do you make of that mobilization from ODM to have its members to refresh its members list, and equally support other parties to equally do the same? What do you make of it? And is that an assurance that Azimio is now back with a bang?
Okay. I will congratulate ODM on what they have been doing, because tumeona ni kama they have
Mm-hmm.
benefited a lot on those trips hizo region ambao ameenda. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, the regions were his best, how can you call it? It is their stronghold, and ODM wame make a lot of inroads in those strongholds.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can
Mm-hmm.
urge Baba is that I think for them to be more closer and more strong, he has to help
Mm-hmm.
these other guys, because tumeona kama kina Wairia hawaonekani, watu kama kina
Mm-hmm.
Martha Karua hawaonekani, and this is the whole team. So maybe if they can
Mm-hmm.
just start working together, if they
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying if they can, but kama baba
Mm-hmm.
ameamua kuwa anataka kutengeneza chama yake peke yake, there's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But on my side, I think as Azimio wangework pamoja, wange move pamoja, because tukisema kuwa
All
kila
right.
mtu atengeneze chama yake the way baba is doing, these guys hawana that stamina. Somebody like Martha Karua hawana that stamina, somebody like Kalonzo, these are guys ambao hawana that stamina kufanya those things ambao baba anafanya. So is that baba to come in
All
and
right.
help them? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good
Oh, and
it is a good move, because at
all
the
right.
moment we need people, and we need
Mm-hmm.
strategies for our
Mm-hmm.
for our 2027 year.
Fantastic. We are equally joined in by Alex Media, and we are joined up as well by many ambao wana participate kwa comment section, and equally many watching us. All right, Mr. Alex, good morning. How are you? Hon Lex, good morning. All right, I think we are having an issue with this connection. But let's dive in directly to what the things they were raising. One of the things that stood out was this phrase that the regime is rotten, the government is rotten, and they tried to bring out myriad of issues that they really can bust and um, properly looked at in that statement that they issued. What do you make of some of the things they were able to raise? I don't know if you have the copy of the speech, but they really spoke at length about the judiciary. They spoke about the corruption. They talk about the cost of living. They equally paid homage to those who lost their lives during protest. Of course, they praised the Kenyan people for standing tall, in that at times they are able to tell, or rather to shout down the president and some of the people who at times want to speak lies and all. So, what do you make of the speech, first of all?
No, the speech was nice. In fact, that is what they're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be doing. Yeah, this is what they are
Mm.
supposed to be doing. And that is the work
Yes,
of Azimio. That is the work of our opposition. Because we need to put this house, and as much as we put our house in order, but we also need to remind this
yes,
government that they had a manifesto. Yeah, they had a manifesto,
yes,
and
yes.
they have to work on it. But if at all, while
Mm-hmm.
we live in propaganda, because as we know, you cannot develop a country. Ama you cannot, how can I put it? On an issue of economy, you will never improve the
Mm-hmm.
economy using lies. No, you
All
just have
right.
to put things in order. You have to play right for you to succeed
Mm-hmm.
in everything that you do, like an economy. That's the same way the
Mm-hmm.
former president of Ghana said that at
Mm-hmm.
any time you try to run the government with the propaganda,
Uh-huh.
always the rates, exchange rate will expose you. This government it may run with propaganda. You remember the G2G deal? Those are things ambao
Yeah,
walituletea
yeah.
na walikuja na pupa sana wakituambia kwa we have to take our dollars, tutoe dola zetu ambao tumeficha, kwa sababu in case tuchelewe kwa mwezi moja ama wiki moja tutapoteza. Those are the propaganda they were using. But look at what happened. Sasa wenyewe wamekubali
Yes.
wote kwa this was just a scam. What I'm just saying, I'm saying that Azimio is working well. They just need to be closer. They just have to move together as a unity, as one team, to succeed in this thing. But they are doing right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now that is what appears in what do you call this? Taifa Leo. That is what has been the news making headline and what they used as their what do you call it? As their headlines. In fact, wanaiweka hivi: upinzani wadai serikali ishaanza msukosuko ya kimataifa kwa gharama ya juu ya maisha badala ya sera zake. Alright, alafu kichwa kikuu wamesema ni kwamba serikali imeoza. Of course ni taarifa ambayo tutaanza kuiangalia sasa hivi. From where you sit, hii serikali imeoza because what we are having for us is just direct translation on what they said. So we chose to use it in English, but we of course picked this from the Daily Nation. Sorry, from Taifa Leo, and as we looked at the rotten government, but in Swahili is what Taifa Leo Taifa Leo has chosen to call inchi ama, sorry, not inchi, rather serikali iliyooza ama rotten government. Now when you look at their speech, when you look at what they were able to describe, would you adduce and agree with the topic that the government is rotten, this was an overstatement?
I will agree with the statement. Jex, let's go back to what the controller of budget told us. She's the woman who told us that kwa this government wamekuwa overspending. Nakumbuka hao ndio watu ambao wanatudanganya kuwa they just wanalipa madeni. These things ambao kwa anatuambia, but kwa control of budget anatuambia nini? Kwa even in salaries wame increase. Somebody who's supposed to get 100,000 shillings imeandikwa kwa anapata 300,000 shillings, and yet he's not receiving the same amount. He's just getting 100,000. Go back to what is happening currently. We have been told that some of the cabinets wamepeleka resignation letter, want to resign. Why are they want to resign? Because things are not working in this government. So I agree with that sentiment. The government is rotten. Look at how this guy is working. Yeah, the pathetic liar. Kila wakati ameshinda kidanganya, kila wakati kudanganya. I see Alex, I think ako sawa sahi.
Yeah. Alex, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jex.
I hope you're well. I know. Gudi amekataa kututafutia alarm, but tunashukuru tuko wazima.
I'm fine now. Your serikali imeoza, Jex. I mean, if you see the decay in a war memorial hospital, if you see the rotting in Meru, whereby they were being heckled, if you see the awfulness and terribleness of what happened in Kakamega, and you can see an atrocious government. When they went to Trans Nzoia, and the worst thing is that he is lying every time. He's lying. People are sick and tired because tumetenga. And that's where the clip of Matiani comes in. That these people are recumbent. These people. They are. The best word to use for lying is they are mendacious in nature. They don't remember that they lied, and they are contradicting each other. Unapata the president is saying this, Mudavadi is saying this, and the Rigiji is saying this. So everybody goes everywhere saying different things.
ni Mhm. All
Okay.
right. I think
Unapata
amehang kidogo but mhm.
no, unapata they are reckless. Unaona vitu Boni Alwale now is being accused to have killed his worker. Unaona vitu Osoro alifanya. Unaona some of the MPs the way they are arrogant and distasteful. I mean, if you look within Wamuchomba anasema different things. It's a classical, a classical evidence of how the government is rotten. The center is not holding.
Mhm.
Ukiangalia Central ama Mount Kenya, you find that the president is determined to fight Rigiji through Ndindi Nyoro.
Mhm.
I mean, the center is not holding. For me, even rotten is not the best word. They are decayed,
Mhm.
you know. Yeah.
All right. Decay na rotten si same.
You know,
Si synonymous
rotten,
synonyms.
decay, an egg can be rotten
Mhm.
and it's worse. But decayed is a long period.
Mhm.
So they've been rotten since they came, Now
Uh-huh.
they have the
So they are
evidence.
now decayed and
Yeah,
decomposing, eh?
yeah. Even the decomposed is good because decomposed is when you hide it intentionally so that zinaitwaje
Mhm.
hizi vitu unapata kwa choo if you don't
Mhm.
wash choo yako, hizi vitu za white. It's, nasahau jina.
Oh, zinaitwa lava,
Yeah, lovers.
maggots.
Yeah, so that's
Mhm.
what's now coming out. That's why I'm saying they are
Mhm.
decomposed. What is coming out
Mhm.
is that, the Ministry of Health cannot even resolve a small issue of war memorial. Two
Mhm.
hospitals have been closed in Nakuru. You can imagine now Nakuru it has only annex.
Mhm.
Tell me, and the population of Nakuru, how much is it?
Yeah, we are close to now. By the way, tunakaribia 3 million from the recent
And now you
statistics.
only have annex. How many people
Uh,
are going to na unajua saa hii hakuna kazi ya wanaume ni kupata watoto sasa. Unfortunately. Hao wamama wanaenda kupata wamama wataanza kulalishwa chini aanze kuzaa huko.
was it?
I mean, these people they found a good economy,
Uh,
but they are destroying it openly.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be looking at equally what made headlines here in Nakuru, but equally, Mr. G, is the regime decayed? Is it decaying? Has it decomposed? As Alex says, rotten is a soft word for them.
It has decomposed. Yeah, it has decomposed. This thing,
Are
just
these
look at
not
from
the
the
same
beginning,
word?
just from the beginning.
Ah.
From the beginning, when they took over this government, look at what had happening.
Mhm.
Alafu, to make the matters worse, they decided to sack those guys ambao walikuwa closer to the former president
Mhm.
Uhuru Kenyatta. Alafu, to make it more worse, wanaleta Kalenjin ndo anaweka kama deputy in that docket
Mhm.
ambao Akikuyu amekuwa sacked is a Kalenjin ambaye amewekwa pale kuangalia huyu Mkikuyu ambaye amebaki sasa anafanya nini, you see. So this is just a decayed government na haitaweza kutusaidia. Sahi, how many children bado hajarudi shuleni?
70%.
Thousands.
70%. They gave the statistics of 70%. Walimu wanauliza watoto wako wapi tufunze.
They cannot answer it.
Remember amukulipa mshahara ilikuwa December. Mshahara ya December. Unajua civil servants hawakulipwa and teachers were not paid. Wamekuja kulipwa hapa January katikati. What government is that? Unakulaje Christmas, mnaanzaje New Year, and they don't care about
when
it.
you look at some of these delays, some of these what do we call them? Some of these government delays that at times zinakaa kama zina cripples vital sectors. Unakuta kulikuwa na some complaint of delayed capitation, unakuta kulikuwa na complaint of delayed CDF. That as well caused challenges in bursaries, in school performance, in as much as what do we call this, addressing the issue of admitting these many children to school who are yet actually many to join these schools. So when you look at it, what does it even say concerning our education? Are we prepared to really have a seamless education where, for example, when we talk of full what do you call this, full transition, is the government committed to the same? Let me begin with you, Mr. Alex. Government, is it committed in full in 100% transition, given that education is quite expensive? It's becoming expensive now. When you get a huge figure like 130,000 children yet to join um, high school, for example, due to fees, because many were saying what is causing this is because wanakosa karo ya shule. What do you make of such when a nation is one of its obligation is to educate its population? What do you make of such revelations?
Jakes, that is what we call in English dire straits for parents. It's a critical situation which they cannot
Mm-hmm.
manage. It's
Yeah, yeah.
hard time for the students. Eh? It's
Mm-hmm.
a bad state for schools. It's a heavy blow
Mm-hmm.
to education sector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's deep
Mm-hmm.
water for some of
Yeah,
us
yeah.
who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm saying that the
Uh-huh.
situation was never managed in a better way, and now they are.
Uh-huh. Alright, I think Alex network inamfanya ile kitu, naona pia times ana hang. But Mr. G, swala la elimu limekuwa sugu, limekuwa karibu impossible to at times when you listen to the news, your heart goes out to the children ambao wanaumia. Ukiangalia jinsi ambavyo wengi hawajajiunga na chuo cha upili. Je, serikali kweli iko tayari na kuhakikisha kuko na 100% transition, ama shida inaweza kuwa iko wapi? Kwa sababu elimu ndilo nguzo kuu katika taifa lolote ambalo lina mtazamo ama linatazamia kuwa na siku za baadaye ambazo ziko na watoto ambao wameelimika, ama taifa ambalo limeelimika, taifa ambalo limeelimisha watu wake. Sasa kama saa hizi swala la elimu limejaa changamoto, wewe ukiliangalia hili swala, je, serikali imejitwika mzigo kamilifu ya kuangazia swala la masomo, swala la elimu? Kwa sababu haiwezi kuwa mpaka sasa waziri mkuu waziri wa elimu
Wacho,
amepelekwa kotini kwa sababu hata ya matokeo ya mtihani matokeo yanatoka, matokeo ambayo watu wanalalamika. Maoni yako ni yapi kuhusiana na elimu yetu hii ya Kenya?
Okay, Jakes, as much as I know the transition has not happened, the 100% transition has not happened, but for me, sijapenda hiyo mambo ya 100% transition. Why? Kwa sababu you find a class whereby mtoto amesoma, someone amepata tuseme kama B ama mwingine amepata A, but you have a group maybe tuseme 70% ama 60% ama 40% wamepata E, alafu tunasema hiyo haijalishi, we want this 100% transition. Sasa tunabeba watu wajinga wote tunapeleka to another class, na kufika pale pia they still getting E, tena tunapeleka to another class hivyo. At the end of the day tutapata we are going to get leaders ambao hawatatusaidia kabisa. Tutapata fools. That's why I'm saying I don't agree with this issue ya transition ya kwenda. No, I'm not talking about mambo ya watoto kwenda shuleni ya pesa. No, the transition ya kubeba hao wajinga wote wanapelekwa another class. That thing I don't agree with it. But on the issue of transition whereby we need all people waingie shuleni, watoto waingie shuleni, and then we cater for that, tuseme school fees, ama we provide every necessaries ambazo zinahitajika. I'm good with that. But whereby we are taking our people, angalia siku hizi venye hizi zimekuwa mingi. Kitambo sisi tukisoma kuko na mambo kama hiyo, ungepata maybe like 10% walikuwa wanapata E. Sasa hii unapata 40% wamepata E. Where are we going?
Lakini Mr. G alama ya mwanafunzi inategemea aidha shule, inategemea walimu, inategemea some of the things ambazo zina cause all this. Unakuta a school is not properly funded in that hawana hata the basics, like you get a school haina lab, unakuta na itafanya mtihani wa chemistry, unakuta a school doesn't have textbooks, unakuta a school doesn't have teachers. I know one school where it was sad. A child one time shared that walikuwa JSS, and they only had 3 teachers who were to teach them 14 subjects, and they had two or three streams for JSS, and walikuwa karibu watoto 300. Yeah, so a class almost had 100 children. So you can imagine 3 teachers teaching 300 children. It's like 100 children per teacher, and they were dividing the subjects amongst themselves, and actually ile subjects they were not conversant with. These subjects were left out, they didn't cover them. But unfortunately some of them, or rather all of them, sat for some of the exams despite them not being taught. So sometimes what students score really depends with a lot. Shule vile iko, kama iko na walimu wa kutosha, vitabu za kutosha. So I wouldn't be quick to dismiss them that ni wajinga, no, but I would say there are so many other challenges that would inform the scores that they are getting, the grades that they are getting. So maybe we need to relook at what our education system is offering, what these schools are suffering from, and what could be informing the challenges they are going through. But Mr. Alex, I see you're back. What could be informing the challenges in our education sector, given that we have many yet to join school, and even when they join school, the performance is not that anything to smile about, as Mr. G is trying to explain. And we are even having results that I don't know where they're generated from, because at times you find the students are complaining about the results. The parents are not happy with the results. The teachers equally are not happy with the results. We have seen headmasters being frogged out of school, frogmarked out of school kwa sababu ya poor performance. We have seen a whole school, walimu wanakuwa transferred because of poor performance in these schools. What do you make of such in our current education sector?
You know, when you reward your cronies
Mm-hmm.
and you have something called tribalism comes in,
Mm-hmm.
instead of hiring technocrats who are adversant with the whole
Mm-hmm.
stakeholder of the education. That's
Mm-hmm.
where the rottenness starts. You
Mm-hmm.
give ministries uh, according to what Uhuru had, but instead of putting a better kisi, you give us the worst of the worst. So chronism is the
Mm-hmm.
problem, because once
Mm-hmm.
you put a person who does not understand his job there, is likely to mess up the whole system the way it had been set up. Remember, the
Mm-hmm.
CBC, the way they were supposed to do it, they rejected. They messed up the system the way it was already planned, and it was going to be better. So you come in and reject everything that even was good, that you can take advantage so that you can get credit out of it. So when he came in, he and Machogu, destroyed the fabric, education fabric, totally. You saw this week how many teachers have been transferred, principals have been transferred. This week, and last week, they transferred a lot of them. Why? Because they feel like some schools are doing better and they should not be doing better. So they take good principals from 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 Kisi, from Luoland, and they transfer them to Kapsabet Boys, Kericho High, Kabianga. You know, that, that does not help. If the teacher, the head teacher who was there, had already put roots that, you know, he had a cathedral mindset that could look 20 years from now. You may take our teacher that was doing good, but the students determine how they are going to do things because they had already been working hard from Form 1. But now, what they are doing, and that should not happen, is to transfer the whole teacher and the principal. So the new ones coming, none of them has a clue of that school. Can you imagine how they are destroying a school? So when they do that, you find that the whole system, when you come to school, teacher mwingine, even
All right. I seem to be having mshki na Mr. Alex, but Taifa Leo pia liliendelea kusema of course liliangazia serikali ambayo imeoza. That is what Azimio was able to say, and wanasema kwamba vinara wa muungano wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya wahimiza Wakenya kutonyamaza, huku serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ikiendeleza walichotaja kama maovu yanayowanyima riziki, haki na kuhujumu demokrasia ambayo nchi imekuwa ikifurahia kwa miaka mingi. Alright? Okay, pia hapo chini katika Taifa Leo utakuta kuwa kuna wadau wapinga ada ya nyumba bungeni. Unakuta pia wanasema kuwa kuna ukusanyaji wa maoni kuhusu ushuru wa nyumba wakamilika kwa upinzani mkali kutoka kwa wananchi. Alright, so the housing levy imekuwa na changamoto pale bungeni. Of course, the public walikuwa invited to issue their feel and their take and their views on housing levy. So public participation was ongoing over the same. Wanasema pia UDA yaonya Raila kuhusu kulaani rais. Viongozi wa pwani wadai Odinga hana majibu kwa shida zinazoathiri eneo hilo. Okay, now the Azimio leader alikuwa pwani over the weekend, or sorry, the better part of last week, and kuna leaders from the coast wali come out gun blazing wakisema that Raila Odinga has no solution for the coast, and of course most of them are from UDA. So hapo chini of course utapata hiyo story vizuri katika ukurasa wa 3. Unasema UDA yaonya rais Raila kuhusu kulaani rais. What do you make of this, Alex? Does Raila have an agenda for the coastal people? And equally, what do you make the people who are yet to really embrace the affordable housing?
sasa wao wanafikiria Ruto ako na suluhu kwa watu wa pwani. So hao ambao wamekuja kusema Raila hana. He launched one of the best water projects while Ruto is launching a transformer. So I mean, you can look there and see the propaganda machine of people who are paid. You know, those rallies were so powerful, and you will see the voltage power of how those people like Boy Juma Boy was forced
Uh-huh.
to apologize, because when he
Yeah.
realized that Kilifi, Kwale is too much in ODM, he had to say nisamehe, nawapenda. Kwani hawakuona hizo zote vitu zilifanyika kule? Wanapwani
Mm-hmm.
wanaamini Raila Amolo Odinga. Kura zikuwe leo today, hakuna mtu atachukua kura ambayo ako UDA, kwa maana hakuna kitu huyu jamaa amewasaidia hata kidogo. Kumbuka wakati kwanza alitoa port Mombasa, ikasumbua watu sana, akaipeleka Naivasha, ndio akaonywa na akina Museveni. Alipoonywa akairudisha nao, akashika sasa, akamtoa director, akaweka mtu ambaye anaitwa jina lake ni Ruto. Na kuambia ukweli, mahala Mkalenjin ako anakamua ng'ombe, apei ndama maziwa hata kidogo, mpaka damu inatoka. Hivyo ndivyo walivyo. When you look at the corporations in history that we had, Kenya Planters Union, KGGCU, Kenya Seed Company, they used to be parastatus. Moja akachukua Kenya Seed Company, KGCCU died, Kenya Planters Union died, because, you know, Peter's principle is something people need to look at. You think because you are an athlete, you are a policeman, you became an athlete. Now because you have gotten a gold medal, now you can become a director of a big thing like the port. I mean, that's nonsense, sheer nonsense. You know, hata kama wewe ni mbaya, if you bring technocrats within your government and they perform, many people will echo you. And that's why somebody like Museveni in the rural areas, he has votes. There is no way you can take Museveni haibangi kura. What he did ni constituencies alikawa the way alifanya kitu inaitwa gerrymandering. Constituency yenye anajua ako very very powerful, anaigawa mara 3. Kaelewa? Na amechunga watu wao, na watu wao wako na chakula, hawako na njaa. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Ya pili, kuna mashamba, watu wao wanaweza fanya nini? Wanaweza kufanya farming. Sasa sisi wa Kenya tuko na njaa. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Na huwezi kufanya kazi bila njaa. Utaachia hapo.
Huwezi fanya kazi ukiwa na njaa ama bila njaa.
Jex, can I add something?
All right, Mr. Yeah, naona mkono wako iko kwa hewa.
Yeah, just to add something on what Alex has said on this issue of coastal people. This is the propaganda, but look at what, just go back to those clips, angalia what was happening. You know, there's something that happened in Msambweni, wakati alikuwa kule Msambweni, those sides za Kwale. There's a statement ambao baba aliongea, na wakati aliongea, this UDA guys, you know, kule ndo mali mashetani anatoka, mashetani and those other guys from UDA wanatoka kule. So there's a statement ambao baba aliongea kwa Msambweni, and those guys came out, wakawa wanalalamika, wanasema baba aliyotumia hii word ambayo aliongea vibaya. Anasema ni kama alikuwa anaingilia wanawake, aliongea vibaya kwa wanawake. Na mimi nikiangalia niliona ni kama hakuwa anaongea vibaya kwa wanawake. It's just a statement ambayo alimake akiwa kule. So those guys they came out, wakaanza kulalamika kwa baba akija aongelee kuhusu issues zingine, lakini aache kuingilia mtu personal. That is what was these guys were talking about. So if gazeti inaweza tokezea leo alafu yanasema kwa sijati coastal people are complaining, siji baba has no solution. Hii propaganda bana. Just go back to what happened in Msambweni. They were not talking about this issue at baba hana ni. They were talking about baba ameongea vibaya, the statement about baba alimake concerning women. And yet that statement mimi nikiangalia haikuwa na anything wrong. Yeah, so this is just a propaganda.
But of course alisema ya kwamba gavana amelala na PS. Wewe huoni kama huoni kama hiyo it was too much?
Okay, too much, you know.
That's an antidote. Look, you can twist that statement to your advantage, but the meaning of the statement will never go away. Mtu ukisema Koome amelala na Ruto, you just mean the executive has slept with the judiciary. So hao wajinga wanakuja wanafikiria they can twist us na propaganda ati sasa sisi hatukuenda shule, hatujui kitu tunasema. Baba alisema kuwa hao watu tuliwa. Kwanza ni mzee mmoja alikuja akasema sisi hapa Kwale hatuna representative. Akamuuliza Sifuna, si wewe unafanya oversight Senate? Ndio Juma akaanza kukasirika ati anatoka. Who cares? He came back and apologized because he knew folks.
In fact, Kwale Governor Fatuma Achani's family demands an apology from Raila Odinga after his comments that she is in a relationship with the cabinet secretary.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, so that is what because all that drama.
That's nonsense. You know, these people feared. Let me tell you, even me,
but everyone is entitled to be treated.
You know, Jex, you cannot twist. You cannot twist what I said to your advantage. Then you start saying that naweza kuwa ni ukweli. It can be literally true. Yeah. On the other side, it can be literally true. You may try to demand an apology, then Baba anatoa bombshell.
All right. Now let's look at the Daily Nation, ladies and gentlemen.
Before tuingie kwa hiyo Jex, to add something, you know, kama last time I think we had a show, it was 2 days ago ama 3 days ago, ile tulikuwa tunaongea kuhusu Attorney General na nikawa nakuuliza swali kwa huyu Attorney General yuko ama alikufa. So when I talked about alikufa, did I mean amekufa literally? You know, these people that are taking things literally, kitu ambacho hata haifanyiki. When I said yuko ama amekufa, I meant he's not seen, haonekani. And this is something ambayo iko obvious. So propaganda ambayo inatumika kwa gazeti pia imezidi. Alafu pia literally even now watu wanachukua that statement. Hiyo kitu hata haingii kwa akili. It's not logic, yeah.
All right. Now, this is what you have in your Daily Nation. Make sure you grab a copy of the same. Resistance, opposition to the levy in the new bill mounts during public participation. How Ruto broke the housing pledge. You remember it began as a contribution unarudishia after 7 years, and then after that ikabadilika ikakuwa that it will be taxes. You remember how this thing has metamorphosized over the days. So they say a shifting goalpost in its manifesto. The ruling coalition did not directly signal a levy deducted from workers' salaries to finance, or from workers' salaries to finance the housing project, and also proposed a modest contribution capped at Kenya shillings 3,000 per household each month to fund the healthcare. But the state has now imposed monthly punitive levies of 1.5, that is for the housing levy, and 2.7 for the health levy, or health tax, or SHIF, on gross earning that have sparked public row. Okay, so let me begin with you, Bwana Alex, and equally you are being joined by your good friend Mr. Black. Now I'm equally very happy. Now we are so balanced. All right, but Black, I'm sure umepona homa. Mzee, umepona homa? Ulikuwa na homa ingine bwana, sauti ilikuwa inatoka ikiwa imedhoofika. Mzee Bomba, umepona homa? Black. All right, unajua Alex atasema wazee take time kuload. All right, but we are joined equally by Black. He claims to be the oldest. But what do you make of these levies, Mr. Alex? That is bringing a stir and a row across the country. The 1.5 and the 2.7 increment in the gross salary for salaried workers here in Kenya. And they're saying this was not what was in the manifesto. So, and what do you make of that?
mpaka nasema nasikia echo.
What if a good log out, log in, and then you check on your earpiece? Probably there's a going to cause that, or your what do you call it? Your jack pin. Sometimes when I cause that. Yes. So what do you make of this levies, Mr. Alex? Because hii ndio imeleta hii shida yote.
You see, if I was Ruto, I could have incorporated, because first of all, sahihi ninafikia atuli angeita go to meeting and the workers and they talk about it. Then I end not, they speak about it. Then we go to public participation, but that's after you go to parliament to seek redress of the issue. The whole issue, he took it and forced it. He did not take the legal way or the manner how it can be taken as a bill to parliament so that it can be. This levy is not even a tax. And any money you collect as a tax must be approved by parliament. That was the illegality that he did. I saw Murkomen say that in 2 months they are going back and the housing levy. I think they are going to get the root of their shock, root shock for the illegalities that they began to do. You see, you cannot do something and think that when you got the court of was it appellate court or ilikuwa ni court of appeal? Which court did they go? Was it appellate or ilikuwa ni court of appeal?
Yeah, appellate court. It was the appellate court.
Yeah. So you can't go there and think that you can twist it. You know, the issue of law is perspective. And because you must write a report so that, because judges and lawyers share. For instance, when they went Maraga, the opposition, to seek redress of the issue of election, the interpretation was key and perspective of what they were doing. So when nani walikuwa na a very weak case that already had been rejected, and what he had done before is, again, he had threatened the same judges, thinking that he can cahoot them. So basically what I'm saying is that the arrogance of Ruto from the beginning about the finance bill, when he said nione ni nani ambaye atakataa ajira sisikuje kwa watoto wetu. But you look at it very well, Mr. Jex. Even UDAs, senators have come to say this thing is a scam, because you can't give somebody land for free and then VAT utoe, and then all these things are happening, and then you come and say that these houses are going to be sold at 3.5 million. Is that affordable housing? Yet land was given for free. VAT was taken out. And you know, land speculation in Nairobi is the biggest thing. Do you know, in Karen, your land can be 10 times more valuable than even your house. So it's no longer affordable, because we have already been told these houses are going to be sold 3.5 million. How can you say that somebody must pay a deposit of 300,000? That's not affordable. I mean, this is a scam of the highest order. You know, at the beginning, I was supporting him because I thought that, look, housing, once you address the rent, you know, Jax, nitakwambia hivi, before I I bought I built my house in Nairobi, Nakuru and Kisii. Nilikuwa nakuja na rent because I have to stay maybe 1 year. Yani nilikuwa naona rent inakuja ni kama ni kama you are paying weekly. Yani unaamka tu hivi tarehe moja imefika. So I wanted us to address the issue of affordable housing, but now we are not addressing it. The people who are going to benefit from this are people who are having money, because they are going to buy these houses and now they rented them to the people who are paying levy. The other thing, Dex, is this. During Uhuru's time, during Kibaki's time, there was also the issue of affordable housing. Some of these people pay and bought affordable housing. That's why ule mzee kutoka pwani alikuwa anauliza nani ana kwao, nani ana kwao. You know, alidifurahisha sana. You sit with stakeholders and they tell you that, look, I have bought a house already. I'm paying mortgage. Now you start again taking money from a person who is 52 years old. He has very few years to retire. Is that sensible? It's not sensible. So I mean, there's a way to address this issue, that this is how affordable is. We will build them with the government kit. And if now you want the house, and it should not be 3.5, affordable housing should be about 1 million, and deposit should be
all right.
That is what we call affordable housing. So if you put it at 300,000, Jex, can you get right now 300,000 just put a deposit, or you are going to take a loan?
All right.
Even those loans, Mr. Alex.
All right. Yes, Mr. G, before I bring in Mr. Black.
Yeah, I would say even those loans kuzipata si rahisi. No one is ready to give you that amount of money. You have to see your statement kwanza, your bank statement, aone kama you are qualified to get that amount of money ndo akupatie. No one atamua tu akupatie pesa sahihi ya nini ya 300,000 only in a sacco, and in a sacco lazima uwe na a certain percent. Tuseme at least uko na kama let's say uko na kama 100,000 in the bank. That's when the sacco can give you 300,000. But bank cannot give you that money.
You need 3 people to sign for it.
Exactly.
Guarantors.
It's not free. Yeah, guarantors. You have to have those guarantors to get that money. So this thing is just a scam. Okay, let Jax come in, alafu nitakuja baadaye.
All right. Alex anasema ni nani ana kwao?
Nani ana kwao? Nani ana kwao? Nani ana kwao? Nani ana kwao?
Nani ana kwao? I wanted to have Black, ameanguka tena. But I know he'll be coming back. I wanted to have him just now. But let's go on. The Daily Nation equally has this for you, ladies and gentlemen. And it says that Azimio in fresh push against high taxation and cost of living. Yesterday they said they'll be taking the government to court because of high cost of living. Can the costs can our courts solve the high costs of living, Mr. Alex?
You know, I read for you a statement yesterday that was very good. And it was very clear that we cannot build an economy through propaganda. And when I said that, I told you that in terms of macroeconomics, the whole, the exchange rate and the spiraling of the dollar will tell you if we are doing well. Because the way the IMF index and bank index have been put, it will expose you that you are lying to the people. If you look at how it has spiraled since they came in, and they are not able to control it. So you must address the issue of the dollar first. Otherwise, inflation is going to take from single digit
Okay.
to double digits. And that, let me tell
Black.
you, let me finish. Last time, Ruto,
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
last time when the president was
Now we
addressing
can
the
hear you quite well, Mr. Black. Kidogo tu wacha Alex amaliza and then I'll be coming to you. Yes, Alex.
So
when he did about Christmas time when he was having around with the media.
it's sorry to interrupt, but I cannot hear my brother Alex. I think it's either he's far from the mic.
Okay, can you hear me
Acha
now?
ataongeza sauti. Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear
I can
you
hear
now.
you.
Alex.
Okay, I'm saying that when the president sat in a round table with the media before Christmas, he lied flippantly that our inflation rate has come from 9.6 to 6%. That's a lie. If you look at the Kenya Central Bank index number, we are about 13%. We came from single digit and now we are double digits. And we are going the way Ghana went. Ghana went up to 27%. So as long as we cannot control the spiraling of the dollar, we are not going to succeed in this thing. Why? Because everything will be expensive. Commodities are going to be expensive because now hata mchele tunatoa India, hata dengu tunatoa Pakistan, mahindi tunatoa Ukraine. So we are going to depend. In fact, our coffers are going to die. If you look when sanctions were put in Zimbabwe, there were no food in the shelves. And now they had to make a note of 10,000 because inflation will go. I'm afraid. One of these good days, utapata to note here 1,000 is nothing. Tunaenda kukuwa na note ya 10,000. I'm afraid. Acha niachie hapo, Black ingia ndani.
Good morning, Mr. Black. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Hujapata homa bwana?
Kanaenda. Iko sawa.
All right.
Doing better.
Okay, karibu sana. Good to hear from you.
Asante.
What do you make of what we are discussing this morning and what is also in our dailies this morning?
Nimesikia mengi. Sasa area.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Unakatika katika.
Tunasema nimesikia mkiongea mengi, maybe we zero it down to a particular question, a specific
Okay.
part.
For example, is our government
mmeongelea education, mmeongea housing levy, mmeongea venye Raila aliongea mbaya kule coast.
Wacha tuanzie basi mahali tulianza. Is our government rotten? Is our government rotten as Azimio opined yesterday?
I would say our institutions are rotten. Because to start with, before nifike mbali, kwanza wacha niwasalimie. I hope you're all doing fine. Ndugu Alex, Sir Jex, Mr. G na watazamaji, I hope you're all doing fine. Glad to be with. I hope mmefurahi kuwa pamoja tena. I think ni institutions zetu ziko na shida. Naona. And this is something that has been there for a long time. So by the time mtu akisema government, I think it should include everything that encompasses in a government. Not just the president, not just the PS, or rather the CS. It should look at the whole structure of the government. See? Now, tukiangalia institutions zetu, like I was reading about the NHIF, I don't know if you've read about it. One hospital venye jamaa alipokuwa akihojiwa kutoka Isili,
But in the last 2 years, amelipa over 400 million. And the hospital just has a capacity of 21 bed. And it's a level 4, it's already categorized as a level 4 facility, which a level 4 facility should have at least 30 beds. Now you can imagine, these guys have even had more surgeries than KNH has been performing. Na tayari wanadai around 78 million.
Is that logical?
Now you can imagine.
Is that logical? Is that really logical? Is that
It's
really
not.
logical?
It's not. It's not logical. But the owner of that hospital, one Bwana Otieno. Now that is a name which you know where it comes from. It is not from the areas which you've been telling us about, right? I don't know if you can expound on that. Is it that they have improved on, on their skills, or is it they've caught up with the skills of the other brothers from the other area, or what is it? So my point here is this: our institutions are rotten regardless of which tribe people come from. None. So by the time we are putting in names, dropping in names, their tribes, we should be aware that this is a perennial problem that just involves Kenyans as a whole. Nimesikia ndugu Alex ukisema kuhusu the appointment of ule jamaa Ruto KPA, but that's a military man. I thought you once said that military men are clear guys, isn't it? They are sober guys. Why don't you want to look at it from that perspective that the government, or rather the president, has placed a military man to be in charge of KPA? Why don't you look at it from that angle? That's a question that I'm giving ndugu Alex. Ule ni jeshi ameipa pale. So I think it's about time that we should stop politicizing everything and tuanze kuangalia vitu in the proper perspective. No. That's the only way that we can tackle issues. If we over politicize everything, we are never gonna move anywhere. Hatutasonga mbele. Now this Bwana Otieno, he owns a hospital that has it's a 21 bed, has a 21 bed capacity, right? It's a level 4, which shouldn't have been a level 4. Those are the questions we should be asking ourselves. How did he get that license? How did KMPDU even authorize? Those are the questions that we should be asking ourselves. And I don't think that has happened now. Just started happening now. It must have been happening toka kitambo, because unasikia alikuwa registered 2006. So those are the questions. So by the time ukisikia government imeamua kubadilisha NHIF with SHIF because they want to start it all over from a clean sheet, from a clean page, right? And that's a good thing. And you can see the road that the parliamentarians have brought out while questioning this man. So I would really recommend my fellow panelists to tujaribu kuangalia maswala from the core problem and how to solve. Let's not over politicize some things. As much as I know, yes, we cannot avoid politics, but let's not politicize some problems which have been there, they are there, and we shouldn't allow them to keep being there. About the housing levy, we should now stop this issue of the complaints and try to come up with solutions. In my view, I was thinking maybe they brought up the treasury bills, right? This could curb the problem of funding. Because treasury bills, anyone placing their money in treasury bill, they are always assured of their money being returned back. Who wouldn't want to have their money back with a good profit, or good interest rates in the form of treasury bills? Nobody. So people who want to put in their money. There's a lot of people who have big money. They wouldn't mind to put their money into treasury bills, which would go into building those houses. Now, those are the solutions that I would like to see watu mkiongea tukijaribu kusaidia nchi yetu. Thank you.
Black, umemention sana bwana Alex. Alex, I'll give you a minute to respond. Equally, we are joined with Leo Nyabaya. I'm sure he's equally doing well. Huyu jamaa amepotea mitaani, lakini we atatueleza audience kuna nini, lakini kabla sija kuja kwa leo. Yes, Alex, umetajwa mara kadhaa.
Yeah, so Black is contradicting himself here.
Alex,
He says our institution. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah,
can
you're
hear you.
audible, sir.
No, what I'm saying is that Black is contradicting himself. You asked him, is the government rotten? He said it's not the government, it's all our institutions. But he ended up saying, yes, the government is rotten. Now, then he starts saying, let's not over politicize everything. When something is rotten, we are not politicizing it. Now you're bringing propaganda. Now your propaganda ni hatutaki. You are not looking things at a proper way. My friend, open up your eyes. Kibaki the other day told the president, when we criticize you, we want you to do a better job.
Kaka brother, ashakuita ndugu asubuhi.
No, haina shida. Kwa debate ambayo we want to make our country better, whether it's Ruto, whether it's Raila, we want our institutions to work better. Because as we said yesterday, if our institutions are not good, whether we are in UDA or you are in ODM, we are going to feel the same pitch. Don't contradict yourself by saying all our institutions are rotten, and then you say, let us not over politicize everything. We must bring politics in and tell them that, look, nothing is working. Education is working. How can Kihika just take patients from the hospital and nothing is done? Totally. Black, hata wewe kubali kuwa nothing is working in that country, and it's not politics we are bringing. We are trying to find a solution collectively. If we don't criticize the government, what is our work right now? It is oversight, because tumewakubalia lead inchi, mulitukatasha maandamano. Then you want us to sit down and not talk about it? Be clear, Mr. Black. Our work, we are not politicizing anything. We are just saying it clearly the way it is. Watoto wetu wamesumbuka. 70% hawajarudi shule ya form 1. Tunyamaze tu hivyo, tena ni politics tunachapa. Easy politics tunachapa. It's because tumechangia watoto wangapi this time around? Personally nimechangia watoto karibu 12. Hiyo sio politics. Then we are telling the Minister for Education, Mbwana, you are doing nothing, you should resign. If you want a Kisi, there is a better Kisi that you can hire. If you want to do a balance in the cabinet, hire a Kisi with a technocrat who can resolve the issue in the education sector. How can you, mtoto amepata A in the morning, by 3 p.m. akona C+. How do you explain that? It's the first time the Ministry of Education has been taken to court, because it was a total mess. Black, you want us to keep quiet, and you just say we are politicizing everything, when you know very well the fabric of a country is education. Once you destroy education, you start seeing quack doctors, and you see our women die in the halls. We are not politicizing Black. We have a right to do the oversight work. Lazima na nyinyi muangalie things from a different perspective, kwa we are doing what we are doing. And when we are doing it, Ruto is feeling the pitch. Thank you.
May I clarify something?
All right.
May I?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Jets. Number one, I have not contradicted myself. I never contradict myself, and I will never ever contradict myself, because I'm a well-thought man. I will explain what I meant about the government when you asked me and about the government being rotten, and my response to that. I said we cannot just say the government is rotten per se, the way like you would mention the president and the CS, because what is a government? Government is a legislative, judiciary, and the legislative, executive, and the judiciary, right? And the judiciary. Now, if you recall, Mr. Jakes, when you asked me, to speak about what you said, I asked you to zero in exactly to the question that you want me to respond to. Similarly, when I was responding to that answer, I zeroed into the institutions of government. Government institutions are very rotten. And that is why I went further to talk about the NHIF, and I gave an example of how that institution is rotten. So just to clarify that, Bwana Alex, no,
Yeah, but you
even on
went
Kasongo.
further to bring
Number
my
two,
name.
I went further to say that example of that doctor who owns that hospital in Isili was registered back in 2006. We know who was leading the executive at then, or leading the government at that time, isn't it? In 2006, right? So if just the past 2 years this man has minted 400 million, how
It
much
was
has he
Kibaki,
minted
I
in?
think.
How much has he minted from 2006 all the way to this year? And that's why I told you it is best not to over politicize things, and let's try to find solutions to problems which we have. And I gave that example of this man who owns that hospital. Since 2006, he has been minting money from NHIF, which could have been used to save patients elsewhere. But instead, imekuwa vile imekuwa. And I'm sure he's not the only one who has been doing that, and it's not the only facility which has been embezzling funds. I'm sure there are more. So what can we do? So that's what I was telling. That's why I was telling you. Let's not over politicize things and mention things as they are and find solutions. And that's why I went further to give you an example of the building, the affordable housing, as to what of umeelewa?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you, Black. All right. Black, are you still there? All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Wale ambao mnatutazama, asante sana. Naona Gudi yako ndani, naona wengi tayari washaanza kutuma ujumbe. Was to give Bwana Nyabaya, lakini it seems imemfanya ile kitu, but tunaelewa network kufanya watu ile kitu is the challenge of having live transmissions. Okay, now let me go back to what we are looking at the newspapers, and we continue with the Daily Nation before I go to the Standard. Now, on your Daily Nation, hapo chini inaendelea kusoma ya kwamba Martha Koome wants UDA senators over JSC plot in motion. All right, Martha Koome vows the independence of the court is not negotiable, even as senator lobbies are changed to compose of the Judicial Service Commission to tame the judiciary. Of course, Senator Cherargei has amekuwa akivamia the judiciary and everything else. But let me begin with you, Alex. I think I asked you this yesterday night. Martha Koome came out yesterday, gun blazing, and said one thing they'll not ever negotiate is discussing the merit or the need of the same. And equally, she said she cannot allow um, to uh, to have the judiciary threatened or intimidated. You see, like for example, the UDA team, the senator wants to have a change in the JSC, which of course that story you find on your paper, page 5 of the same. What do you make of Martha's Gomez response yesterday?
Uh, Dex, I'll tell you clearly that, first of all, she knows she's made many mistakes that she should
Mm-hmm,
not have made. So she's
mm-hmm,
trying to redeem herself from the mistakes she made by
mm-hmm,
trying to be the boss that she should have been from the very beginning. She
mm-hmm,
never took her work seriously. You know, she received 800 million first day when Ruto became the president, when he was being inaugurated. And they were paid heavily and they were bought. Now, when you look at the judiciary, it came like, you know, the opposition never trusted the judiciary anymore. And I think the judges must have come and told him, Martha Koome, and others within the circle, that look, your work you're not taking seriously. When people don't believe in courts and they don't come to courts because of you, I think you're doing badly. So I think it was a stakeholder meeting to try to put the house in order. That's the first
All
thing.
right.
Secondly,
Okay.
there is the issue of Ahmed Nasir pushing Lenaola to become the CJ, the Chief Justice. And there is also a cohort of people within State House. You know, State House are here, kuna makatel huko sijui ni 83 cartels who are manning the country, you know. Wameweka macho kila mahali, unaelewa, so that they can help the president. It's like the provincial administration. So one of the things they were pushing is that how can they take Koome out and put somebody who will be soft to them, so that anything that passes in parliament, because now they put Wetangula there, we don't even have a speaker anymore. That we are in agreement with that, because hata baba alisema that we used to discuss a bill for 3, 4 or 1 week. 3, 4 days or 1 week. You bring a bill, you read it, you pass it, and you have 7 bills, you pass them in 1 day. I mean, the credibility of not the judiciary, parliament has been taken out totally and completely. So Akina Cheregai, they are playing politics because they want to remove the CJ, and the CJ has realized that. So she's going to put her house in order. But it is too late, because if today Ruto decides to form a commission of judges who are corrupt, first of all, they are told to step aside. And if they step aside, you know, nothing exists in a vacuum. He will have to appoint judges who will replace them. And the worst part of it is that we will have Ruto's court. So to protect the integrity of the courts, Martha Koome must be fierce and tell them, look, I might have compromised. I might have gone to bed with you guys, but we cannot compromise the institution, which is a neutral arbitrator of this country. When anything comes out, look, now Baba said we are going to court for the issue of the cost of living. Before we couldn't go to court. At least now we trust that the judges will be neutral. The cost of living has gone high. Now
All right.
atashinda hiyo kesi. Who knew that Omtata atashinda ile kesi? We doubted it, especially when Koome went where? To State House. But the judges have become sober. And that's the sobriety we need. Thank you.
All right. Mr. G, what do you make of the lady who you really say alivunja moyo?
You know, I will agree with Alex that she's just trying to redeem herself from the shame she caused. And you know, today I think I'll be soft to her. I don't want to be hard the way I always do, but my stand still remains. Sijabadilisha anything. My stand to her still remains the same way. Today I'm going soft to her. On the issue ambao Alex ameongea kuhusu Ahmed Nasir and this woman, just go back to that tutor. Utapata before he answered, president alitweet pia akasema, and the tweet from the president shows that Mohamed Nasir and president they always talk with Ruto, they always talk. Kulikuwa na conversation pale ambapo alikuwa anaongea. After that tukapata that comment, that tutor from Ahmed Nasir akawa anaongea kuhusu going back to Supreme Court wakati watu wametoka. So these people wame discuss, and what Alex is talking about, exactly that is what is happening under the curtain. Kwa sababu gani? How comes atoka tu from nowhere alafu anaongea kuwa I'll come to court wakati wewe utakuwa hauko? hiyo confidence inatoka wapi kwanza? These are people who always talk and they have a plan. Na plan ni capture the court because asha capture the parliament. Sasa hakuna kitu kwa parliament inaweza tusaidia na court imebaki, and as much as she's trying to redeem herself, bado pia hata tusaidia. That's why my stance still remains the same, but today I'm not going hard to her.
All right, now let's look at the caricature in the two newspapers before we go to the other ones. When you look at this in ya Taifa Leo, inaonyesha a nice SUV with some horn speakers, and hiyo ni gari ya serikali because it has a number plate of the same. It shows that tushatoka kwa elections, naona wanaweka kuna ballot boxes hapo, or rather ina signify as though tuko kwa campaign moment, and then inasema serikali kazi yake ni nini hapa, ina issue lawama. Kazi ni kulaumu tu left, right and center. Either watalaumu the previous regime, watalaumu Azimio, watalaumu empty coffers, watakuwa tu watu wa kulaumu left, right and center. All right, Mr. Alex, I don't know if you can see the caricature, but what do you make of the cartoon this morning? Is it the true reflection of our country that we have a government that kazi yake ni kulalamika left, right and center? Ukiangalia hiyo ni gari ambayo iko katika hali ya campaign mode. What do you make of that cartoon by Inga?
No, Jex, ukweli ni huu. Ruto ndio alianza maneno ya campaign immediately. Ukimwona akienda hizi mikutano kila wakati anaenda ni siasa anapiga, akae kwa ofisi. Hatumuoni kwa ofisi, tunamuona kwa mikutano kila siku. Tunashangaa ni lini atakaa chini afanye kazi. Sasa hii gari inaonyesha kuwa Wakenya wameanza kukampeni 2 years before, 2 years after, I think 1 year and some months after election. You see, in some countries, it's a law that you cannot start campaigning until it's about 1 year before election. They were like this country, they have it. I think you can't do it until maybe 1.5 years before election. But shida yetu ni siasa. Watu ambao wamechukua ushindi katika kura lazima wakae chini wafanye kazi, sio wakuwe kwa magari. Ukiona Rigiji is meandering within, yes, mayoral consciousness ni Nyeri mpaka unashangaa huyu jamaa kama sio saa ingine Ruto anampelekanga out of the nini, anaweza kuwa na courage ya kwenda popote. Niliona bibi yake juzi akikuja Kisii na Simbarati welcome very good, yani very well. I don't know what was the purpose of that woman going to Kisii because sisi hatutaki Rigiji. But ukiangalia Rigiji campaign mode, yeye na kijana wake ambao wanaitwa Ndidi Nyoro ni saini kupigana tu. Kila siku utaona in the mountain, wengine wanasema ni Ndidi Nyoro, wengine wanasema, mpaka juzi niliona Gachagua akisema, Gachieta akisema kuwa ataanzisha chama chake. Sijui kama uliona hicho kitu. Alisema ataanzisha chama chake, which means he has sensed that things are not, the center is not holding. Okay, so kitu tasema, Ruto hafai kulaumu Azimio. Naelewa kwa nini? Kwa sababu yeye ndiye alianza campaign. Sisi hatukuwa na campaign zote. Sisi ni juzi tumeanza kwenda wapi? Tukaenda first of all Siaya, na sisi tulianza kufanya registration, which I was agitating for. I said we must register so that we can know how many people are within ODM, and then we start, having delegates meeting. Opposition should be doing that, not the government. Why? Because opposition, their work is oversight. So that wao madelegates wanatuambia shida wako nazo kule mashinani ambayo hatutajua. Is that wrong? Because sometimes we concentrate on the national issues and we don't go on the local issues, which sometimes are pertinent. Like right now, education sector, unikiangalia NAT haiongei, ile ingine sijui inaitwa nini, haiongei. Hata sijui saini who is the head of the NAT. Kitambo tulikuwa tunajua ni Sosion. We just don't know the leadership. They are not talking about school because it is their work. When things become bad like the way they come, they cahoot with us and we pressurize the government. Because that is our work, to make noise at the rooftop to tell the government, on here you are wrong. The way Omtata was firm and he made sure that he had stopped that bill. Because the president had threatened, and hiyo ndio tabia yake mbaya, na nimemwona tena akithreaten tena juzi hapa Meru. Akikuwa Kisii alisema kwani kuswad mulilipea ya kukata mboga. And those are the things that we must tell him frequently, that look, we have courts. Hiyo sword ulipewa kwani wewe unafikiria ni ya kuua watu? Wakati akisema ni ya kukata, kwani ni ya kukata mboga. What did he mean? He meant that he's going to assassinate somebody. So hiyo gari ina signify kuwa somebody is not working. Somebody is in the campaign mode. And therefore, there is nothing we can get out of this government until and unless he sits down and work for the people who never elected him. Aliba Kura, he should know how he must do what, do his work. Thank you, Jackson.
Mr. G, what do you make of that car and what do you make of that cartoon?
I think I will concur with what Alex has said. First of all, let me comment on the issue of black, ile issue ambayo ameraise concerning Azimio. You know, this narrative that watu wamezoea kutuambia kuwa we need to give alternative. I think the message ambayo Alex amesema, if black is listening to us, anafaa ingie kwa akili yake. This UDA sycophants wanapenda kutupatia pressure sana na some media group wakituambia kuwa our work as Azimio, we need to give alternative. That is not our work. Our work is to oversight and to make sure that watu wana perform what they promise the nation. Kwa ile niao inaitwangaje, the manifesto. So every time utapata even the media wanatuambia Azimio wanapiga kelele hawatupatie alternative. No, this issue is sink in their minds. Na wajua kuwa we are not here to give them alternatives. Sisi tunafaa tuwaambie wafanye kazi. Wakati wapana kudanganya kutuambia they have plan. Which plan did they have? Ama ilikuwa tu wapate hiyo cheo ndio wakuja anza kusumbua watu. Okay, going back to the okay, sioni vizuri. Oje my iko kidogo sana. Siwezi soma hizo majina, but what I'm saying ni kuwa I think campaign mode imeanza. And this is just what he used to do when he was in the former government. Wakati waliingia tu 2017, ilikuwa sijui mwezi wa 3 mwezi wa 4, wakati handshake imekuja, ashaanza mambo ya campaign. So this shows that at least sasa tumeshaingia kwa campaign mode, and I can assure you Mr. Jax that on this campaign mode ni opposition ambayo inaenda kugain, not even the government. Kwa sababu gani? Government watajisahau. This guy hawezi kaa kwa ofisi. Huyu ni mtu ambaye amezoea kusimama kwa gari, amesimama kwenda nje ya country. So the moment anaona Azimio is gaining ama ODM is gaining, atataka kucounter, na by counter atapoteza ile mwelekeo wake with everything ambayo alikuwa anataka kufanya. Pia anaingia kwa campaign mode. Akishaingia kwa campaign mode, hapo ndo sasa atakuwa amefail kabisa. And that is what we want. Sisi tunataka hivyo. Hatuwezi kuja hapa kumpatia alternative. It will never happen. Nimeona jana alikuwa anajenga. Yeah, I can see the thing. Jana ndio pia alikuwa anafanya kama, you know, these things, hizi ni vitu ambazo zilikuwa zinafanywa na Moi. Sijui kama unakumbuka wakati wa Moi. Yeye ndio alikuwa anafanya vitu kama hivi. So pia anaanza kujaribu kurudisha kufanya vile Moi alikuwa anafanya, kwa ni maendeleo, but hakuna kitu kama maendeleo. These guys wamekuja kuloot. wamekuja kukuibia. Now we have to speak it out. You know, Jex anasema, not Jex, Black anasema ati we should be truthful na tuache ku politics everything. This is not politics. In ukweli, Mr. Jex, this is just the reality. Somebody amekuja na hii kitu ya house, affordable housing. Na ukiangalia kabisa unapata this is not even affordable housing. This is just a scam whereby wanaweza kula go to tenders ya hizi vitu za housing. Utapata hakuna any hustler ambaye anahusika kwa mambo ya tender. Hakuna any hustler anahusika kwa anything. Hustler atahusika tu kwa kubeba mawe na kubeba simiti peke yake. Ndio vitu ambavyo hustler anahusika. Other things ni hao wakubwa wenyewe wanaenda ku benefit. Haya, twende kwa nyumba yenyewe. Hustler hatapata hiyo nyumba because we cannot afford that cash. So this is just a scam. And you have to speak the truth. Black asikuja hapa kat convince that tuache politics. It's not politics. We are speaking what we see on the ground. Back to you, Mr. Jakes.
All right. Now, what you're talking about, the Daily Nation, and the Daily Nation equally has another cartoon. They are talking of our Moshomba and Goliath. When you look at that caricature, you have William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua placing some doing some construction work. They have some bricks, some trowels, cement, and all. They're doing some construction, and now using a sling, Wamoshomba is removing the bricks from the houses. It's like she's bringing it down. Let me begin with you, Alex. Is Wamoshomba the one bringing down the Goliath, or rather the big people in UDA, because they are in yellow, I think signifying UDA? Is she the person bringing the coalition, or rather, sorry, the party down, in as far as she's seriously opposing some of the projects that the government has tried to come up with? What do you make of it?
I've been studying Mushamba for a while. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what a narrative, the end of a narrative game will be. But however,
Mm-hmm.
the housing levy, he has been very consistent about it. In fact, he was courageous enough the first time not to vote for it, first of all. And he went to the ground in Kiambu, and she was told, I'm sorry, I'm calling here, and those sometimes you're confused. So she went to the ground, she spoke with the people. People told him that they don't want this thing. Eh? So I think she went and took the song Wipu za Zakayo ziko wapi. So amekuja kuchapa hizo wipu za Zakayo up. But they are still forcing. If you look that, there is a word affordable housing at the front up, and kuna ladder there. The whole cartoon signifies that these people are going to be defiant and that they are going to continue because they have already looked for tenders. They were going to supply chuma, they were going to supply iron sheets, they were going to supply cement, and many other things. The question is, are they going to succeed to do so? They are going to defy the court orders. That's what I think they are going to defy. It's end month. I don't know kama watu wamekula mshahara. We will ask them first. Watuambie kama mumekatwa pesa. But if he does do that by force, I think even some members of parliament from the UDM party, which is northeastern, are going to cohort together, because there was one senator from Stiwapi who was courageous enough to kumwambia, look, this is not going, this is a scam. And once a Muslim has said this is a scam, they can go back there and call it haram, and then they will vote with Azimio, and again they will bring it down, because they must take it back to parliament. First of all, they must take it to wanafanya public participation about it. So, and the next thing, they will take it back to parliament, and it will fail because the reason it will fail is because the president is just stamping. Had he been humble enough, but the president is just stamping. Yeye wangwana, hii mkutano mnafikiria ni yenu? Hii si mkutano ya Azimio mahali mnapiga kelele. Sisi sio watu wale wa kurusha mawe. na kupiga
Mhm.
kelele. He wants to
Mhm.
brand us in a different way. But now,
Mhm.
even the people of Central are being convinced, honestly, it can't be like this. It can't continue to be like this. And it
All
will never
right.
be like this.
All right. Black seems to be falling on and off. There's this story ambayo pia imemake headlines ya ile ndume iliua farmhand wa Boni Halwale. I'm forgetting the name of that cow, but but the farm guy
Inaona
alikuwa anaitwa Moi. Eh?
kwa inaitwa inaola,
Is
something like
something
that.
imeanza na I. Maybe Mr. G can tell us. He seems to understand that language. And we saw the able senator cry profusely because of that cow, because he had to spear it to death and all. Then his counterpart came out and said that hii haikuwa accident. He claimed that Halwale had something to do with the death of the farmyard. And then the star has it that Halwale says that I did not kill my trusted farmhand. He says this is a man who has worked for him for close to 30 years, and he has been his farmhand for quite some time. And he says he's one of his most trusted farmhand. But on this fateful day, alikuja amekunywa busaa, according to the good senator. And alipokunywa busaa, hii ng'ombe ati imekuwa ikipewa molasses. Yeah, these are the bulls he uses for fights. Some say was napewa to the level of kupewa bangi and all, so that they can be very aggressive. So this guy came akiwa amelewa and the bull decided to act on him, killing him um, uh, in its shed. So Kakamega senator says he's not keen on responding to claims from the unverified sources. Mr. G, what do you make of this statement from Halwale? I don't know if you followed the story of the death
Yeah,
of his farmyard
yeah.
farmhand in
I
his farm after the bull killed him.
I followed the story, and to me, I cannot. Those are just allegations that I cannot substantiate. But let's go back first. Nilikuwa
Mhm,
nataka ni comment something on Shomba before I come to this issue of Halwale, because this issue of
mhm,
Halwale ni kama there's some propaganda in it. Ambao, let me first of all comment on Wamchomba something.
mhm,
Wamchomba, when she came out, this is a woman ambayo I think amedecide he cannot stand with impunity, kwa sababu
mhm,
one of the reason I'll come out aliongea kuwa the government imecapture parliament. Those are the words
mhm,
from her, that the government imecapture parliament. Sai anything that the president want to be done, anaita watu wake kwa state house, alafu anawaambia what they have to go and do and what they have to speak, anything
mhm,
that is needed anawaita.
mhm,
Sasa ameshai capture. Another thing,
mhm,
she talked about issue ya Uhuru and the kingpinship ya Central Kenya.
mhm,
And in fact, she elaborated very well on how things happened when Uhuru came out, how he defended his people, and how he came out, he emerged to be the kingpin of Central Kenya. And he spoke many things ambayo aliongea.
mhm,
Utapata kuwa ukweli ni kuwa this government imekuwa against the will of people, imekuwa against the prosperity of our nation. Hao ni watu ambao wameingia kwa mambo
mhm,
yao. When she spoke about the issue of housing, affordable housing, amesema kuwa the government is there with some cartels ambao wanataka kukula pesa wananchi the hustler. So it's not just something ambao analeta kuwa is a project kama inakuja kusaidia watu, no. So on the issue of Wamshomba is just one woman ambaye amedecide to stand against impunity na ameamua kusimama na wananchi wa kawaida. That's why anawatetea, and I think I'm grateful for her for what she's doing. Going back to the propaganda ya Halwale, I think when somebody amedungwa kisu na mtu ambaye amedungwa ile nini ya ng'ombe, ile horn ya ng'ombe, those holes ziko different. Ukijaribu kuzianalyze na ukijaribu kuziangalia, mtu ambaye amedungwa kisu inaonekana that sharpness ya ile kisu kuna venye inakata, na ile hole ya mtu ambaye amedungwa horn ya ng'ombe kuna venye inakaa. So let's wait and see the investigation itakuja na nini. But listening to that story, wanasema kwa huyo kijana sijui alikuwa boyfriend wa bibi yake, that's why aliamua kumuua. Another thing ni kuwa look at what happened kwa hiyo scenario ya Halwale. Tunaambiwa kuwa Halwale tena alienda akamuosha. Halwale, mbona Halwale aende aoshe mtu ambaye amekufa? And yet she knows, anajua, no, he knows, not she knows. He knows that mtu ambaye amekufa akija kuchukuliwa na polisi, kuna evidence ambazo zinafaa zichukuliwe. Kuna vitu ambazo zinafaa ziangaliwe kama fingerprint. Kuna vitu mingi, hata fingerprint. Kuna a lot of things ambao the CID huwa anaangalia kwa mtu ambaye amekufa. But tunaambiwa kuwa Halwale went ahead akaosha huyu mtu. What was the motive for Halwale kuosha mtu ambaye amekufa tayari? You see, that's why I'm saying there's a lot of contradiction in this message. Siwezi sema kuwa aliua. Yeah, hiyo siwezi sema kwa sababu sijui. But I'm waiting kwa ile investigation report ikishatoka ndo tutajua kweli kama aliuliwa ama ni ng'ombe limdunga. But there's a lot of contradiction in this thing. Na Halwale pia ni mtu ambaye anapenda propaganda mingi, huwezi muelewa sana. So let's just wait and see.
All right. Beautiful. Bwana Alex, what do you make of your story Halwale and Nang'ombe? But Black is equally in. Wacha nianze na Black. Allow me to begin with Black. He seems to have a challenge. Black, what do you make of your story Halwale? I don't know if you know the story. And I don't know if you equally saw the cartoons that I played. Kulikuwa na moja ya gari kwa campaign na hii ingine ya Moshomba akijaribu kubomoa.
Mimi naichukulia tu kama propaganda tu hiyo.
William Ruto, and of course the last one yenye nimeweka ya Halwale, hiyo story ya ng'ombe.
Mimi naibeba kama propaganda tu hiyo.
Yes, Black.
Unless proven otherwise, I wouldn't dwell much because the person that was even bringing up those allegations, he was not in that house. I mean, if he was in that house at that particular moment when all these things were happening, we could have said, yes, maybe there is something to discuss. But he was not at the place where this whole incident occurred. So how do we take his word and start discussing about it? Right? Or if he could have been told by someone who was in that house at that moment, or at least in that vicinity at that moment, then that would be something to talk about, isn't it? So I just think that I don't see any basis of discussing that. Or why doesn't he go and report that to the nearest police station?
We are talking about the one. Somebody is making noise.
Mbona hajaenda police kwenda kuripoti? So those are just baseless allegations until mimi napendanga kuongea vitu ambavyo viko proven, not hearsay, not propaganda.
Yeah.
So
what do you make of
in my perspective, naweza sema tu hizo ni hadithi tu. What about
unajua,
what about Muchomba?
Tuende kwa Muchomba first. Let us talk about it. Let's
bring down UDA.
Dex, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't think amefanya makosa. Muchomba is just being a leader who she is. That's it. That's all, nothing much. So I don't think we should make a storm out of a teacup. It doesn't make sense. It's only in ODM whereby when someone talks the opposite of what the leader says, they are already given names. Wanapeanwa majina, wanaambiwa ni wasaliti. But in UDA you are given the freedom and the leeway to speak your mind. So umeona akichukuliwa action yoyote? Hapana. Umeona kitu kina yote mbaya na rais wetu ama kiongozi wa chama? Hapana. But the minute you see someone talking the opposite in the other side of the politics, kina ndugu Alex tayari wanaanza kuita mtu majina. So I'm looking at it from a different perspective that UDA as a party or Kenya Kwanza as a coalition, kuna ile room and space for people to criticize from within and not being called names and not being oppressed. So I think from where I sit, I would ask kina Alex, ndugu Alex na wenzangu, they should be taking notes as to how parties should be run that way. Thank you.
Alex, your sentiments on Halwale and Wamushomba?
First and foremost, let me tell Black to mute first because I think mic yake na yangu iko na shida. I think when we open. Yeah, so you see, we are taking notes of what Khalwale said. Khalwale says that he had paid the worker the previous day. So on the material day of his death, amekunywa busa. Then he says further that walikuwa juu kwa nyumba hawakusikia kitu chochote. Unaelewa? Alijuaje amekunywa busa? Alijuaje ng'ombe ikisikia mtu amekunywa busa inafikiria ni molasses? I mean, the story does not add up, kitu Khalwale said. I mean, if you were upstairs, you say, when he was being killed, how did you know all these details? And then why do you wash the body? If somebody has died, you're supposed to put a red tape. If you're not guilty, you say you went and washed the body. Khalwale is the one who is contradicting himself, and that is why we are saying that, look, these statements, they don't make sense. Nobody is castigating Khalwale. We're taking the statement of Khalwale as he said it. Isema ati alienda kakunywa busa. If you're upstairs and you did not hear him, that he had come, how did you know that alikunywa busa?
And
why did you wash the body?
He says ndio alikuwa amemlipa tu mshahara. Alafu jamaa akaenda akapewa vitu zile zao. Then he came back, aliporudi at night usiku akiwa peke yake, akaenda, they were not able to hear the screams because they were upstairs. So the bull ikamdunga kifua, ikamuumiza kichwa and pia sehemu za makalio. So
we are not talking about me. It's not even the statement of Toto.
What he explained to be the cause of the death and any from Khalwale. But what do you make of it? Is it a propaganda? Is it, are we making a mountain out of a molehill? Are we blowing it out of proportion? Are we making a storm out of a teacup? What do you make of it?
You see, the question, the question is, you are a doctor, you are a senator, you've been a member of parliament, you know the law. A dead body, once you find it has been killed, you leave it there, you call the police, and the investigators will come and do their work. The washing of the body is what we have a problem with. Why did you wash the body? So he is contradicting himself. If I was a forensic investigator, I will have questions about that. You're a doctor. You don't just flippantly wash a dead body when somebody has died. Why do you wash it? A corpse. Jake sasa ukipata, and I think you've been through that, and Paul, not reminding you. If you found your child has been killed and you were not there, you just came in the morning and found that mtoto alitoka kwa nyumba, akaenda, ng'ombe imempiga. Utashika huyu mtoto umuoshe ama utaita askari kwanza wakuje wafanye investigation? So him being a senator, he has a lot to answer because his statement is what we are taking it. Achana maneno ya Toto. Toto alikuwa na shida na yeye, hata sasa ako na shida na yeye. Toto is a very rich guy. Nasikia he calls shots in Kakamega. He's like a pseudo governor. But he knows more about Khalwale because wakati Khalwale alisema anataka kuwa wakati alichukua Oparanya akasema anataka kuwa, I think there is something, that there is a beef that was between those. So hiyo wachana iweke kando. So Khalwale's words contradict himself, and if I was a forensic investigator, I will first of all say this guy should go in akae kwanza kwa cell so that we can investigate this case. And if it's true that this guy had a relationship with Bibi Mdogo Khalwale, if it's true, because the wife will be asked, then Khalwale has something to ask. But the UDA government is not going to do anything because we see what happened in Kisii. Up to today, Osoro has not, has not been culpable of what he did. He killed people, he wounded people. They want us just to forget like that, but we have refused. Wacha tumpate Kisii, atapewa proper beating. Haezi cheza na wananchi hivyo. Osoro akanyagi Kisii anytime soon.
Sorry, I'm muted. Let me listen to this explanation from Khalwale. I really want to get how he explained himself. I think I didn't really pay attention to those details until now that we're talking about it. But let's listen in to what Khalwale had to say in as far as the death of his farmhand had
alipokuwa anafunga akiwa peke yake, na jioni alipokuwa anafunga akiwa peke yake katika mahali penye bull hulala, inaonekana bull ilimvamia ikamshinda na nguvu, na kwa sababu alikuwa huko peke yake na sisi tulikuwa huko juu kwa nyumba.
I can't hear from my end.
Kama alitoa mlio, lakini
kitu sijui kama kuna kitu kinaendelea.
Jex, we can't hear Khalwale speak.
Or let me try to get a louder one. Yeah. All right, let me get a louder one. Let me get a louder one. A louder one of the same. I'll get that just now. Just now, allow me to get a louder version of the same. I think this should be able to be slightly louder because he explained it in a way that many say, Ali, let me see if this one is louder. All right, this one is good. So let's listen in to this one. I think this one is good. Okay, yes, this one is good. Let's do this. Can you hear now?
No, we can't hear anything.
I can hear Jax very well, loud and clear.
Some
the
of us
clip,
cannot hear.
not Jex, the clip. The video
Okay.
that you played.
Okay. I can't hear anything.
Jex, umefanyiwa ile kitu?
akiwa peke yake.
Can you hear now?
Katika mahala penye
Can hear you only.
Inaonekana ilimvamia ikamshinda na nguvu.
Can you hear the video?
Alikuwa huko peke yake
No.
Liko kujuu
Nasikia kwa mbali sana, ongeza volume.
hatujui
Alex,
kama
can you
alitoa
hear the
mbio,
video?
hatujui, lakini
Anaongea kwa umbali sana. Just take the
imempatia
Mutembei
multiple
video away
injuries.
and put another one. This one is too low.
Wote wamekuja kwa haraka. Saa hii tumemchukua, tumempeleka city kwa mochari kule Kakamega. Tutashirikiana na familia. Moi ni mwanamume wa miaka 46. Amekuwa kwa hii boma
Jex, we can't hear.
kama kayateka.
Anaongea kutoka kwa umbali sana.
Fighting zaidi ya miaka like a small boy. Yes,
Black, wewe unasikia?
He acts.
Hakuna kitu
yote na wanakaga wale.
Jex, we are not hearing anything, man.
Pengine aliamua kwamba kabla hajaenda kulala
sisikii kitu.
Jamuone. Na unajua
Jex amefreeze ama ni nini kwa sababu he's not responding.
So karibi kama unanuka molasses.
Jex,
kuja kwa haraka.
we have given you time to look for it, but we are seeing somebody, but we can't hear his voice.
Hiyo kustuka kwa sababu pengine alikuwa amelewa. Nafikiri alitisha bull. Unajua buri ndio inaonekana alimuattack na kumpatia injury zote. Kama daktari.
All right, sorry, I'll allow the version.
Pembe imeingia right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Tunaichukua kama ajali ya kawaida. Huyu ni anti yake mwenye ni jirani yangu kwa shamba lenye tunafukia mbuzi na zile ng'ombe ndogo. Mnaita ndama? Hizi ndama zinaishi kwa shamba ya juu. So moyo anapeleka huko.
Oh, sorry. I think I was having some slight technical problem. Can you hear me now, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you, but not the clip.
All right, just one moment. Let me work on it. I think it's on my end. I had a challenge with, but the video itself has a low sound. But equally, let me try to play it from the media channel that equally reported the same. But from what I'm gathering is Halwale didn't hear the man yell for help, or rather yell when alivamiwa. The man, as he says, alikuwa peke yake. So most of what he's equally reporting is not what he witnessed, is what he thinks happened, right? He's explaining what he thinks happened. So I think we should leave it to the detectives. So what do you think, Black? Should we take the bullfighter by his word, or there is more than what meets the eye? Black?
Well,
Black,
like I said, unless someone comes up and records a statement, the police, I can't speculate on the issue whereby, I don't know, someone spoke of a wife being involved, some love triangle issues. I wouldn't go into that because I think that one will be stretching things too far. The issue would be if knives were used, I think a stab wound can be seen and noted to be different from that of a bull's horn uh, stabs, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe if we have a post-mortem, we can tell. Because Pembe Andovu, the way it would stab a human body, the hole it leaves behind would be, the diameter would be slightly different from that of a knife wound. Because a knife wound would be narrow, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if they can argue from that perspective, then they'll be having something to talk about. But sasa mtu akianza kuingiza mambo ya sijui bibi alifanya nini, that one is, hiyo sasa hiyo ni upuzi, you know.
All
No,
right.
Black,
So that is the angle which
concentrate.
I would urge anyone, if they have to bring an argument, if they have seen or they had seen the body, waangalie ile tundu, waseme ile tundu si ya kisu, hii tundu ni ya kisu, hii tundu haikae kwa ya pembe. And that's a different discussion, right?
Black,
All
Black.
right.
And as a
Yeah.
doctor, kitu ya kwanza huwa wanafanya vitu kama hiyo, huwa ni kusafisha, to clear the wound, to clean the wound and the surrounding, isn't it?
Mm.
You are not allowed to do it before the police
I mean,
come and look.
for anyone who has been to, at least been attended by a doctor, or at least seen a doctor attending any wound, first thing is to wash. So
Black,
kama
he found him dead. Black, he found him
Kalwale ni
dead.
daktari, of course the first thing we'll do is not to wash the body, to wash the wound. So maybe he may have done that, but mtu anajaribu kuexaggerate maneno tofauti.
No, but Black, this
Kama
did
daktari
not.
first thing akiona kitu kama hiyo, they clean the area, isn't it?
Black hako na shida ya volume because
So
hatusikii.
vitu vingine ndio maana nilikuwa nasema let's not over politicize some things. Tuongee vitu vingine vya maana, yani from a meaningful point of view. Yeah?
But Black,
All right.
Black,
Yes. This person was
I think
found dead. Do you watch
this is a
the
serious issue.
person? If it was,
Black has an issue, country is not hearing us.
Yeah, and Black should know that this matter is
yeah, I
serious.
think,
Yeah, now you talk about jokes. The matter is very serious.
I wish
trying
you
to work on
a
his
place
end
so
to
that you
see
can
what.
see Karuale contradict himself. You know, how did you know
Let
you
me try to. Yeah, let me try to share this one. I think I don't know if this one has all the info, but wacha tusikize hii.
Such unfortunate ending was witnessed Sunday in Malinya, Ikolomani, Kakamega County, after a bull owned by Kakamega Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale actually before his fellow bullfighting enthusiasts descended on it with pangas and shared the meat. Alan Ochanda.
The owner of the killer bull, Kakamega Senator, attacker and killing him instantly.
Hii accident imefanyika na kuna traditional way yenye mambo kama hii ikifanyika ambao tunafanya hiyo, lakini tutampatia masishi yake kama Mkristo wetu Mkatoliki.
All along, Inacio the bull mistakes this for another imminent duel. He is wrong. He is head to Portia's pilot for flouting the rules of the game and causing death. In line with the Idaho customs and traditions, whenever a bull causes death of a human being, it must be killed too. He then spears it, and the multitude, armed with pangas and axes, descend on it randomly, cutting it into pieces and sharing the meat among themselves.
Na unajua bull huwa tunawalisha kitu ambayo inaitwa molasses. So ukimkaribia kama unanuka molasses, kuchuka kwa sababu pengine alikuwa amelewa, nafikiri alitisha bull akijaribu kumsukuma na bull akawa na hasira.
The act, according to lovers of the game, is a must, as sparing the killer bull will attract more death. According to Halwale, the 5-year-old bull that weighed 500 kilograms, like other bulls, are never tied whenever in their shed. They are used to their caretakers, but dislike anything to do with alcohol smell.
Kuna pembe moja yenye bull ilimdunga direct in the neck, hiyo ndio ilimua. Pembe imeingia right into the neck, ikafungua big blood artery yenye imebleed na moyo akapoteza maisha yake.
In 2020, the senator lost another bull, Christian Pogba, due to East Coast fever. Inacio was its replacement and was ranking top table. Has at times seen fans sustain injuries and at times succumbing. Alan Ochanda, KTN News.
What do you make of it, Bwana Alex?
For me, I think the investigators should, I mean, Boni Aluale contradicts himself. I mean, because my question is, how did he know that the guy was drunk? And then again, he says that he was upstairs, they could not hear when all this was happening. I mean, there is a stiff contradiction there, but I don't want to go deep because it's none of my business. You know, accidents happen. If it was an accident, it was okay. But that contradiction of things that he wants to use tradition, okay? And even animal rights people should go there. You don't just beat and spear a bull like that. He's committing another mistake, you know? Animal rights groups should come even there again and investigate him. You don't tell us that tradition, there's a way to nafanya vitu, mnaanza kuchapa ng'ombe. It's not even allowed. I mean, Kenya does not follow, you know, the Animal Rights Act, whereby, you know, people beat their dogs. When you want to kill a cat, you put it in the kwa gunia, alafu unaichapa kabisa ndio isitoke huko. You know, when you're killing your dog, unachapa moja kizaeka, unaichapa kwa kichwa inakufa. Now that's what they were doing. I mean, Boni is guilty here for me. There is something about what Boni is covering. And I hope ungeweka yenye iko na volume hii kama ingelia, you could have heard vitu anasema kuwa yeye walikuwa juu hawakusikia. Huyu jamaa akakuja alikuwa amekunywa busa. The previous day nilikuwa nimemlipa. Sasa akaenda kwa Inacio. Akaenda kwa Inacio. How did he know all those details? Unless he has CCTV. Okay? So those are the things that we are asking. If you say you were upstairs and you could not hear this man cry, then don't give us details of anything. Just say you don't know what happened. You found him dead in the morning. But the way ana narrate is as if he knows, ni kama amepanga maneno yake vile anayasema. And then the other thing is holding is the tradition. Sisi kuna vitu tunafanya kama jamii yetu, vitu kama hizi zikifanyika. Unaelewa? So Boni is not a stupid person. Boni has been a member of parliament. Boni has been in committees. Boni has made some people lose their jobs. Kimunya must go. Boni has become a senator, then akaenda nje kidogo, akarudi tena akakuwa senator. This is a learned man. The man is playing with the intelligence of us. But ukiangalia vizuri, ukifuata maneno yake, they don't rhyme. Yeah.
All right, guys, we are now winding up. But Mr. G, what do you make of the death and equally the explanation from the senator, even as we now wrap up this wonderful show?
I think I just have to answer
Black. Black I think Black aelewi that on a dead body, ukipata mtu amekufa on a dead body, you are not supposed to wash even that wound. Just the answer and the fact is the body is dead. The guy is dead. The body is lifeless. You don't have to wash any wound ambao unapata pale. In fact, even you are not supposed to touch the body. You are not supposed to touch the body as much as ushagundua kwa hii mtu amekufa. So Black, this is something that you need to understand. On the issue of Halwale, there's a lot of contradiction. Kwa sababu kitu ya kwanza wanasema kuwa ati ng'ombe ilisikia harufu ya busaa. I come from Western and I used to drink busaa kitambo. Nowadays I don't drink. Niliwacha kabisa, nilikuwa na kunywa ile utoto tukiwa primary na secondary. Na hiyo niliwachana nayo. But when you drink that busaa, huwezi niambia ng'ombe ambayo iko 2 meters ama iko 3 meters ama 4 meters itasikia harufu. Those are just contradiction ambao Halwale hajielewi. Sijui nani amemwadvise. Hakuna vile ng'ombe inaweza sikia harufu ya mtu ambaye amekunywa pombe kama busaa kama hauko more than 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, hapo utasikia. But a meter plus huwezi sikia harufu ya busaa bana. Ni ngumu sana. Another contradiction hiyo, kuosha mwili. Hauwezi osha mwili ya mtu ambaye amekufa. Hiyo ni kitu ambayo haiwezekani. A dead body lazima ishikwe na polisi wakuje waiangalie. Back to Jax, kuna makelele, sijui kama mmenisikia. Kuna makelele sana. I'm outside, I'm on the streets.
All right,
No,
asante sana.
tunasikia.
All right, asante sana bwana Godia, ati Godia. My. Jesus Christ. Godia should be coming to the show at times, eh? But asante sana Mr. G and equally Alex. Alex, your closing remarks as well.
No, my closing remarks is let's continue to educate people and to agitate for the liberation of our country. Our country is not in a good place right now. As we started, is the government rotten? I think we have all agreed that our institutions and our government is rotten. But for me, I said it's decayed or decomposed. So because it has been slow for others to see that, this guy is on the cars, on top of cars instead of staying in the office. And he's more of a tourist than a president. And he shines outside, but that honestly, he knows that he has taken this country in a wrong trajectory. So you cannot tell us that we as Azimio, we should not speak. We will speak on the rooftops, and we will speak even when our mouth shakes. Why? Because we must understand why did Uhuru manage this economy without this kind of what we are seeing, this kind of taxes and levies. How did he manage to do that? And Ruto cannot. And Ruto was in the same government with the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta hata ile wakati. He was sitting in the security, the highest organ of security when they were discussing things. So Ruto is not an amateur when it comes to politics. So he must take responsibility that the bursaries have not been paid. And what makes me even mad is that Kihika has been given power. How can a government close an hospital? It just doesn't make sense to me, Jex. It can't and it will never. Imagine, Jex, if you were there and you are in oxygen, you will be dead. So kwa matanga ya ule jamaa ambaye alikuwa chairman ya Matatu Sacco, at least they tried to speak about it. And I think the members of clergy who were told not to talk, and also some members of parliament were told not to talk. And it was chaos. I mean, when in a funeral you're being given your farewell, I mean, it should not thrive under chaos. I mean, it should be peaceful. You leave the family to peacefully bury the other. Lastly, I think when we come here, we give our views. It's not like we are pinning other people down. It is it's a political perspective. You know, you can take it, you can leave it. You know, so sio kusema wale wenye there's a way watu wa UDA they will always start saying wale watu wa ile side hamunanga demokrasia. Sasa sisi tukiongea, yani they want to pin us that we have members of parliament who have become segregated. They went to Bondo the other day. It is the people who ejected them. It wasn't Raila. When they went, the member of Bondo went to Bondo in the opening of the Anglican church. You know, it was the members who voted for him under ODM. The same members who are doing what? Telling him that he has done a wrong thing. In Kwale, it is the members, the delegates, who felt that they don't have a senator. So that is democracy too. So unataka mtu wetu aenda work the other side, si tunyamaze tu hivi. That man spoke very well. He said, sisi hapa Kwale. Akauliza Senator Sifuna, are you not a member of oversight in parliament? Yes. Sisi hapa tuna hatujai muona. Was that wrong? It is not wrong, because that's internal democracy. You can't choose somebody under ODM and under the other side, and then you don't see him at all. You're going to see him under UDA in 2027. So we must speak. And we will speak even when our voice shakes.
All right. Naona Black umemzindua. All right. Yes, Black.
Hello, my point is this. Point yangu ni kwamba si eti kwamba sitaki ama napinga watu ku point out makosa hapa na pale. My issue is only politicizing things. Now, for instance, yes, we've said that housing plan, that's just an example. The funding source, the funding structure is not so popular, right? Now, what's the alternative? I've not had anyone from the opposition coming up with an alternative, because if they had such a plan also, just a minute, I let you speak, ndugu Alex, nilikuacha kuongea. Ndio? It is only fair that also pia mimi uniruhusu niongee, nimalize, alafu upinge chochote kile ambacho nitasema ambacho unaona kiendani sawa na vile ambavyo unavyoona wewe. Si ndio?
Ni kweli.
I think sasa ndo nasemaje? Iwapo kweli na ni kweli, mimi pia naona kwamba mimi pia nakubaliana nalo kwamba ile funding structure sioni so far ikiwa mzuri. Inakaa iko very unpopular. But I've not heard people coming up with alternative sources. Now, for example, I've heard the Right Honorable Raila talk about the housing plan. Wamesema ni mzuri na kwamba yeye pia anakubali ni mzuri na tunakubali ni mzuri, lakini njia ya kutekeleza ndio si mzuri. Ni opinion gani ama suggestion gani yenye watu wametoa? Mimi nimetoa yangu nikasema, why don't we opt for a way of funding it through treasury bills? That is a suggestion. Now, why don't we also hear the other side and my learned friends like you coming up with alternative suggestions, like this is the way that we could fund this process, because we agree the idea is good, but the source of funding is not good. So what alternative suggestion do you have to it? I came up with one. I said, doesn't the government come up with a way of funding it through treasury bills specifically for that? Because there is a program which I saw, I read, walikuwa nasema ya saving scheme ya expatriates and watu wako diaspora. Why don't they turn them to treasury bills instead? Because treasury bills, unajua pesa yako ukiweka pale haiwezi potea by all means whatsoever. But coming up with structures of kusema eti scheme ya kusave ya diaspora, I think hiyo pesa hata ikipotea imeenda. Maana wataleta mambo ya commission of inquiries na pesa itairudi. But if we come up with a structure which money can go in form of treasury bills specifically for building those houses, the money haizi potea. That is my opinion. What is your opinion? And what is the opinion of your leader or suggestion as to how we can come with alternative source of funds, except your 1.5 deduction? So that is what I would like to hear from you and your leader. So tell me, what is your suggestion? That is a question that I pose on you.
Black.
And Mr. G.
Black.
Another thing, second question. Hii NHIF kubadilishwa kwa SHIF is a way of trying to come up to clear the page, kuanzisha kitabu kipya. Maanake tayari unaona ile road mahali iko, pesa ni inapotea left, right and center. By starting up a new one, then it's easier to track each and every form of claim that comes in right now, as we try to verify the other previous claims that outstanding bills are yet to be paid for those claims. Kama hiyo mfano ambao nimekutolea mfano, hospitality inadai imelipwa 400 million na so far inadai 78 million, when evidently it is a fraud. So if such things, NHIF ikifungwa sasa hivi watu waingie kwa SHIF. Now such claims before ilipwe kama 78 million inakuwa verified in this manner, like the way inakuwa verified sasa hivi na parliamentarians, but there will be a specific panel ambao wana verify claims. So some of those claims ambao ni fraudulent hazitalipwa, and if anything pengine watafunguliwa kesi waweze kulipa back ile pesa ambao wameiba so far. So I think it's about time that we start looking at things from a perspective of a Kenyan and not that one of Azimio or a KKA. Now I've given you a suggestion of funding the housing, affordable housing. What is yours? Thank you.
Alex, is it the work of opposition to tell the ruling party what they should do?
Now, all of a sudden you've become opposition.
Let me talk. You have
so
spoken.
You decide to be opposition when you want to be, and to be a Kenyan. Okay, sorry. Continue, Nisame.
So you people must know that it is unpopular, and come up with a different thing that now you do public participation the way you have started. You correct the problems you have done because it was rejected within the courts. So it's not us to be giving you suggestions. When something has been done that is wrong and we have gone to court and we have won and we have told you that it is wrong, you can say you should have technocrats who should help you. Don't tell us to come to solutions for your mistakes. You guys have people within the party that must be correcting the mistakes. People like Murkomen, asianze kusema in 2 months, we must. That's not a solution. You make it even more unpopular. But our work as opposition is not to be brought in your mistakes for us to give you alternatives. It is not. Your problem is that you want us to be a solution to your mistakes. It can't be. Our work is when you do something wrong, we tell you this is wrong, go correct it. Ukikata, we go to court. That is our work. Our work is not to be technocrats.
Ndugu Alex, may I respond to that?
No.
Your work as a Kenyan.
Just listen. Huh? Our work is not to do your work.
Let me ask you. Your core interest is the best of the country, right?
That's why Black, the winner take all. If you win and you start governing. Usiniambie sahi tukue Mkenya, lakini honestly, we are on this side. We had our manifesto. We knew what we were going to do and how we were going to get the money. And
let me ask, kazi ya legislatures wenu ni gani? Because they are still MPs when they get into that parliament, isn't it?
But we have a rogue parliament right now.
No, so when you say rogue, that includes those of Azimio, is it?
No, we are saying the other
side. Cannot say yes, and you cannot put a rogue parliament in the one sentence and say, huh?
Look, Black, a bill cannot be, 7 bills cannot be discussed in a day, and zote zinapita. There's a process.
Fine. So I'm asking a simple question. Have you come up with an alternative suggestion as to how that can be funded? The project can be funded aside from the deduction.
My friend, it is not us to tell you. You had a manifesto.
Listen, when you're in that parliament, that's the problem we have in our nation, and it will never change unless we change our mindsets into realizing. Now, let me ask you: when we have the Republicans,
your
let me ask.
parliamentarians when
Black.
hawawezi fika mahali waona it is unpopular, let's come up with an alternative.
Let me
Why
ask
are
you:
you asking alternative from us?
when Democrats come up with a bill, does it mean Republicans don't give suggestions as to how to make it better because they're Republicans?
We have a rogue parliament whereby we cannot have a
No.
bipartisan bill.
Now, if you as a right thinking citizen, is that the kind of thinking that should come out of you now that you believe that you are not rogue? Because I know you're not rogue. Is that the kind of thinking and the mindset that you should be bringing?
When they are
Unless you are rogue
contentious
equally.
issues, no,
Huh?
that's one is key. I answer you. When there are contentious issues, the speaker brings these ones and these ones on the side. Tell him that we
No,
can pass this one, but
no,
also
no,
this
no.
is equally good for us. So we pass both. But I've never seen a bipartisan parliament whereby somebody sponsors a bill in this parliament and Wetangula agrees. They passed bills according to the numbers. Wanaenda state house, wanaambiwa this must pass, wanakuja hiyo kitu. It's not even discussed.
Ndugu
It's a matter
ndugu
of
hapa mimi
no ndugu kubali bwana.
nimekupinga.
How many things have been passed without even people talk? Otienda Molo said the other day that he waited to speak. He couldn't even speak. 3 people spoke and that was it. They passed the bill.
Ndugu, I am very disappointed in that kind of mindset because I know you are a
No,
very,
no, no,
very
no. You
smart fellow,
cannot
and that's
take
why
my
I like
mindset.
debating you and
You
Mr. G.
cannot take my mindset so that I can think like you. You
No.
must respect
Now understand
divergent
one thing.
views.
Let me ask you a question.
No, stop asking me questions because you want me to
If
agree with
you
you.
come up with a suggestion that you believe is going to assist the Kenyans, will you have assisted Kenya Kwanza or assisted the many Kenyans out there?
You guys don't listen.
It's a simple question. When you come up with a suggestion, that's why we have public participation.
We have
But
artificial. You guys have
what is
what
the,
is called artificial majority.
what's public participation all about? When so that Kenyans can come up with alternative suggestions and opinions. Now, when you fail to do that,
Black, you must know that the work of opposition is not to advise the government on what to do. You don't agree with me on that.
is to now I know that's what I'm saying. It is very strange how at the beginning of it all you are very eloquent in telling us that the constitution of Kenya does not have opposition. Mr. Jack, you were here. We were having this discussion. Did we not have that?
Oh, we are minority. I'm sorry for using the word opposition. We are minority.
So did we not have that discussion where hatuna opposition, hatuna nini? So that's why I was telling you, it is very convenient for my good friend and my brother Alex to choose when they can be opposition, when they can be concerned
No,
citizens of
Black, I'm
Kenya.
sorry. I used the word that is not supposed to be there. We are minority.
Now, that being the case, does that mean being a minority you cannot bring up a suggestion? Leave alone that. Let's
It
come
is
out of
not
the
our
parliament.
work.
Let's
It is not
wacha
our
tuondoke
work
parliament.
at all to
Wacha
advise
tuondoke
the
wacha
government.
tuondoke
It is not.
parliament. Wacha tuondoke parliament. Twende kwa public participation. As a Kenyan, public participation is whereby ordinary Kenyans, ordinary citizens, just a Kenyan like you and me,
That is different.
can come up with suggestions. Have
Yeah,
you
that
come
is
up with
different.
any suggestion from yourself as a Kenyan, concerned Kenyan?
Of course, I have come, but I'm not going. If I was in Kenya, I will give my views when I'm telling the people that come to, if that's parliamentarians or whoever that comes, if it's the ward comes, MCS, whoever comes to ask us about that. But the whole issue is, the court said this is wrong, but you still want to push it. You want still again to go to the court of appeal and push it and say, look, this is not right, we still we want the 1.5, 1.5%. Ukiweka 1.5 na ukiweka 2.7, hiyo ya healthcare ya NHIF sasa inaitwa sijui ni SHIF, ukiziweka pamoja already zimefika almost 5%. That's a lot of money to be deducted from people.
Mimi nitakwambia kitu kimoja ambao nimeambianga wengi,
they are looked at deduction, they are not looked at taxes.
Nitashare tu kitu kimoja ambao
they should come to parliament and make sure that the bill passes at a tax, not at a levy.
That's what I'm saying. I will share something that many of you, I think you already know, we've observed as Africans. It is one crazy thing that I've gotten to realize. We Africans, we always seem like we are in competition with ourselves, with your brothers, with your friends, with your citizens. It's like you always want to come out on top by ensuring the other one fails. Whereby our Asian brothers and sisters,
Black, you act as
and
if
Europeans,
your president Black, you act as if your president listens to Kenyans. Your president does not listen to Kenyans at all. That is one thing. He has made the country to be chaotic because the nature speaks to people. If people disagree with him, he should not say, we kijana, pinpoints, as a leader, listen to what the people are saying. Why is he being heckled all over the country? Stop being a Pan-Africanist here when you know that very well the Ruto is not a Pan-Africanist. We can agree between me and you to be Pan-Africanist. But when it comes to parties and the bulldozing that we are seeing, the chest stamping that we are seeing, the abuses that are made now, they are coming from both sides. The president must act as a president of the whole country. They are acting as a president of Kalenjins and the Kikuyus. And wamesema, this thing, if you saw what Cheriot wrote on X, which was Twitter, and deleted right away. If you saw what he said, this thing will benefit only the shareholders who are Kalenjins and Kikuyus. And then he deleted it. So must we sit here and start saying that now? Because Cheriot has made mistakes before, whereby say, even Mutiota akishinda kura for the first time, we have nilots. Na akafuta hiyo kitu right away. Look, you must also look in-depthly and ask yourself, why is this thing being pushed? Why is it Sai? There are other members of UDA who have come to say this thing is a scam. You must ask yourself also. Let him stop. Hakuna, kila mtu akona, kuna mtu hapa ana kwao. Kila mtu akona kwao bwana.
Like I had mentioned earlier, this is a plan that you had as a manifest, part of a manifest. Now, coming up and correcting, when you correct and agree for solution. But ukiwa unapiga kelele tu, that is, you're not being Kenyan, number one, and you're not being
Black, hakuna mtu anapiga kelele. I can also decide to say you are yapping.
But coming up with a solution, alternative.
Black, listen to what you're saying.
Take it to the bank. You people had a manifesto. You people campaign.
Exactly.
But the campaign, wakati wa campaign ilipita. Sasa hivi wakati wa kufanya kazi. We want to achieve a success for the nation,
Black, listen.
which involves you and me.
Black, we don't. That's
understand
you.
Listen, Black.
Ingekuwa hivyo, a winner take all. You took the government. We can't come in to start advising you what to do. You took the government. It's winner take all.
I've not. Sijasema mu advice. Sijasema mu advice. Nimesema while you complain or while you agitate for something to be stopped, but at the same time, in the same sentence, you agree that that project is a good one. So, what is the alternative suggestion that you have for this project that you believe is a
We
good one?
agree that affordable housing should be there, but we disagree that we should be paying 300,000 as a deposit and hiyo nyumba inaenda kukua 3.5 million. Therefore, this is not affordable housing.
Okay, so how would you want it to be done?
He can adopt the way Uhuru was doing.
Huh?
He can adopt what Uhuru did. Jax put here yesterday, if you were there, how many units? Some place he put 3,000 units, some place he put 4,000 units without taking levy from us. He can adopt what Nani did, Uhuru did.
Now that you see, now that is a positive. That's a positive debate now.
So your problem is that
Because
what you guys are supposed to do. You know,
listen,
Mr.
nisikilize.
G, can you
Sasa
tell him that's not our work?
nisikize.
He doesn't
Similarly,
listen. Black hataki kusikia.
nawasikia. Sasa unaona vile mmesema Uhuru did 1 2 3.
Tusikie basi.
Now that is the kind of discussion we should have.
You know, I don't like that kind
No,
of
but it's not a
discussion
work.
to tell you guys. No, no. I'm not going to
Similarly,
have that kind of discussion where
let
that
me
now
jog your mind a little bit. Unakumbuka tulipokuwa tukiongea kuhusu kusucceed Raila? It is
Oh
not
yeah.
mine, but I was given a suggestion as a Kenyan. I'm not in ODM.
Look, when you took the government,
Why?
you
Because I'm concerned in making it and making that party work. It's not for me. I'm opposite of that party. I oppose that party. But I gave the right
you are
opinion,
a flip
right
flopper. There's a
suggestion
time
to
you
make it
came
work.
and
Why?
said that sasa umeingia
Because I want
ODM
the best out of it.
do you remember there's a time
Unanielewa?
you came and defected to ODM? You openly said nimeingia sasa ODM. You are a flip flopper.
Uliniuliza who's best suited, nikasema hiyo sasa ni yenu, ila this is the way it should be done. That by now we ought to have done 1 2 3 4 5 things to avoid the fate of what has been happening to other parties, whereby when the leader goes off, the party dies. And I gave an example of PNU and many other parties that have gone down because their founding father or their leader went down. No. So I gave
Black, can I
an alternative
tell you
suggestion.
something? Black,
Sema.
can I tell you something? Yeah, let's listen to
Ongea
what
nakusikia.
Wamchomba said. Wakati alikuwa na Yeah, I'm talking. Let's listen to what Wamchomba said. Wakati alikuwa anasema when he decided to stand against the bill, hiyo bill ambayo imeleta shida Kenya. The things ambayo amepitia, the rejection ambayo amepitia from that government, from the president and those people who surrounds the president. Now you are telling us to give this person an advice, somebody ambaye hasikiza advice. Tutapata vipi mtu advice? This is what Alex is trying to tell you and you have to understand. Wacha kupressurize kitu ambayo iwezekani. It's not our work to give alternative to this government. Kwanza, in fact, maybe can you discuss kama watoto kidogo? In my side, in fact, government ikianguka ndo mimi nafurahia. Hiyo sana nafikiria kama mtoto. Ikianguka ndo mimi nafurahia. We are not giving it an alternative.
You know, Black, if we had a speaker like Marinde, whereby we sit down and we have bipartisan committee, and you know we say this is what we want, this is what we want. They narrow it down, but there is no way Ruto can agree for bipartisan committee to be there, so that at least some of our things are achieved. And therefore, that's why we are saying during Kibaki's era, you know, there was something that happened good for us to show that our coalition partnership works. And in parliament, we had very good committees that used to sit down, the government and the other nusu mkate. What they used to do is that they used to debate things under the committees, and then they come with the solutions. You people do not want us to sit down with you in parliament, in committees, so that we can have solutions. Wetangula is a dictator. He doesn't even listen to anybody in parliament, not even the people from yeye atajua hii bill the president ameniambia iko hivi. He doesn't act as the speaker of everybody in parliament. So you can know that the difference between the leaderships that we have and the leadership that we don't have. If you had tolerant leaders, you have heard what Osoro says openly. I'm the chief whip, lazima munisikize. Or when you come to me for loans, I will never approve you. That's what they tell us openly. So sahii unataka nifikirie kama Mkenya, but nyinyi hamfikiriangi kama Wakenya, mnafikirianga kama watu wa UDA.
Mimi hakuna kitu, to be honest, tangu tuanze hii serikali sijasikia kitu yote substantial kutoka from your side. Your side has never come up with anything substantial. To be honest with you, from the legislature, you may say that you have some rogue MPs, and I don't know how you define by rogue. What you mean by calling them rogue? Is working with the government rogue? I don't know, but to my knowledge, I don't think that is rogue.
Talks to us.
Now, anybody that works with the government is rogue. No, that's how you ended up calling. That's what you ended up.
I'm asking you, do you listen how Ichungwa
mkaenda kutukana kina Jalango ukisema eti wameuzwa, which is wrong. Just the other day nilikuwa namsikia your Homa Bay governor, na aliongea vizuri sana. There's no way for you, if you want and really intend the best of your people, that you can work without the good relation with the central government. They're intertwined. So it's like, for someone to be deemed as being well performing, upande wa Azimio, is when they are there shouting, screaming, and opposing anything that can be good as a project by the government, and not in any way whatsoever cooperate with the national government ama central government kutengeneza nini, kutengeneza nchi. That is your way of, that is how you define a good leader in your perspective.
No. That's not
yes.
How, I mean, no.
That is how I see.
That's how thank you for saying that's how you see it. And that is a stupid way of thinking.
So now listen, it is unfortunate that Faso Rantusi.
No, I'm telling you that you cannot just say that this is how we think, our way is shouting. First of all, umetutusi.
No.
Umetutusi wewe ndio umeanza matusi.
No, because in my if you feel by saying shouting matusi,
as a class.
My apologies on that. My apologies on that.
Like we are hecklers.
No, listen.
No,
there's wisdom in listening.
You can't say listen
if my choice,
when I'm trying to help you that look, you called us hecklers.
And but that is what my apologies is. That's how you feel, but that is what you exactly do. You know, because
see, you apologize and say this is who you are. Stop branding us that way. And that's what I'm telling you. That's a stupid way of saying things. That we are hecklers.
That's what is happening. What's the definition of a heckler?
My friend, you
guys, what's the definition of a debate?
You are dumb. When anybody comes to UDA, they stop using their mind.
No.
Yes, when somebody comes to UDA, they never use their mind.
No.
Like you are not using the mind you used to use when we used to debate before.
No.
You are a psychopath right now. You are a fanatic.
No. A fanatic is someone who sees no other sense but one way. I have been able
That's
to
what
try
you
and
are
make you see
right now.
something. I
That's
gave you
what
an example of
there's no
NHIF.
example that was
Nikatolea
substantive that you
mfano ya
gave me.
example ya hospitali yenye imekuwa ikiibia NHIF toka 2006. Who was in power in 2006?
That's not substantive example.
2007 coming to 2007 mpaka sahi 2008-9 mpaka 2024
And there are many other
imepita
hospitals that
regime ya nusu mkate. Nusu mkate imepitia regime
are.
listen.
That
Let me educate
nonsense.
you now.
Stop that. No, you are not
Imepitia
going to educate me.
nusu
Stop that nonsense.
mkate,
Look,
ameiba wakati wa nusu mkate, ameiba wakati wa Jubilee na ameshikwa wakati huu wa sahi.
wacha nikwambie.
Understand? See that sense.
There was
Now,
NYS saga, there was the military saga, whereas you people sijui mulifanya chesa mukaenda mpaka the office of the deputy. There's so many corruption things that you guys did under when Ruto was powerful. So
who was the minister?
Give me an example, one example, and you think that you are so clean.
Minister of Health wakati huo ilikuwa nani? Wakati silikuwa kuna Ngilu ama?
Stop it. You're not going to give me one example by branding us. Why don't you talk about NYS?
Yes, boy. That's what I'm telling you.
NYS? Why don't you talk about the gun saga?
Ndio maana nakwambia ukisema uingie politics, tutaingia politics na hakuna kitu tutasaidiana naye. Elewa hiyo kitu ndio nakueleza. Lakini kusema tuongee kama Wakenya tutapata solution. Maana tukiingia siasa nimetolea mfano. Hii kitu walianza kuiba tangu 2006. Hiyo ni hospitali moja tu. Na serikali gani ilikuwa hapo 2006? Mbona wako washika wakati wa serikali ya nusu kati?
Give me one-sided example.
I'm giving you an example. Wameshikwa wakati huu wa UDA wa Kenya Kwanza. Then I would say that Kenya Kwanza is working far much better than Azimio.
Tell us about Waiguru. Tell us about Waiguru.
Let's debate from a perspective of a Kenyan. That's why I was giving you that point. Tukisema tuanze kudiscuss upande wa politics
because somebody is called Ochieng. You are giving me an example because somebody comes from Luoland. Stop that nonsense.
Yeah.
Talk.
Sasa kama Ochieng amekuwa akiiba. No, nimekutolea mfano. Uondoke kwa hiyo mindset.
The point you said, and you know where that person comes from. You know,
I'm not even talking about him. I'm talking about the scam. If that scam from that hospital was happening since 2006, ikapita regime ile ya nusu mkate, ikapita regime ya Jubilee, because Jubilee, wakati wa Jubilee, Raila was not in government.
Jex, I'm telling you,
elewa hivi, point yangu ambayo najaribu kukuambia ni hivi, Alex.
Hakuna point uko.
Aliiba regime ambao Raila alikuweko, na akaja kaiba regime ambao Raila hakukuweko. So you see, this is a perennial problem that does not mean that sijui kama unanielewa, si mambo ya politics. Because ingekuwa ni politics, tungesema aliiba tu wakati wa Raila. But he did not steal during Raila's time only. But he also stole in Jubilee. So the problem is this, huyu ni mwizi. Elewa hiyo. Sasa na tunafanyaje kuhusu waizi? Tushike waizi, but let's not politicize it. That hii serikali, elewa hiyo ndio point ambayo najaribu kueleza. Tudili na hii kutoka ile point ya kuwa watu wamekuwa wakiiba. Na akatoa mfano ameanza kuiba tangu lini. So hii ni shida tuko nayo. So what is the solution we can do with it? But because kama ameanza kuiba tangu serikali zile zingine, then it means we have a problem with that system, the hospital system itself, the insurance fund. So how can we approach this? Now that is what we should discuss. But when you start talking about hey serikali, you're not being, you're being the psychopath.
Black, your problem is right? This. You don't
because
want us to
nikakwambia mfano tukiongea approach it from a political point of view. Nitaanza kutetea nusu mkate si alifanya pia.
All right, gentlemen.
Black, let me tell you one thing. You are not going to change us from our position to what you think and what you define as Kenyan. What you're defining as Kenyan is not Kenyan. It's a way of wanting us to rubber stamp what you guys are doing. We are not going to do that. There's no Kenyanism there. There's no patriotism there. You want us to think hard thinking.
I've asked you, let's be forward thinkers and get solutions to these perennial problems which we have.
But you
I
guys don't
understand.
listen.
We cannot
We
have
told you
people.
that why did we go to court? Because you guys refused to listen. Of not that you don't go to court just
And that
like
is the
that.
right approach, going to court. And I agree with that. And that is the best way. And I agree. That is how it should have been done. And I'm happy that
No,
ilifanywa hivyo.
what you are saying is that
And
what you are saying,
I'm in no
and your
disagreement.
president
I'm not disagreeing to that. I'm agreeing to that.
and your president then said, kwani hii sword nilipewa ya nini ya kukata mboga? Nitaitumia. Then he started threatening us.
In my
All
view,
right.
I'll say that is wrong. You see, so that's why I'm telling you. We should debate from that perspective of a Kenyan, not
How
as
can
being
we
a psychopath.
debate
And I agree.
when your
Those are
president
not the
has
right
already
words.
said
Those are not the
he's
right
going
words.
to use the sword?
That's not. No. Has he used the sword?
Of course, he threatened some people.
No.
There is a
Tusonge mbele
video
bana.
Kibagendi
Vitu
talks
vingine yani.
about that. No, there's a video that
No.
Kibagendi speaks. No, wacha usikiza Black. Don't politicize things. Saa yote unakuwa fanatic that the president that alisema wacha nione mtu atapinga hii bill. That was a threat.
All right.
Black, kubali kuna time your president has made many mistakes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, nakuwa requested tuanze like videos. Yeah, I think I don't really emphasize on the importance of liking our videos. But please, whenever you watch our videos, kindly be liking. Asante good. Yeah, I'll try to be reminding our viewers and our panelists to always like our videos. All right. Msifanye black, msifanye good year as I feel discouraged at like the videos, Akina Black and Alex and Mr. G and myself. Let me look for that video, our video. Sometimes story ushika hapa kwa Africa 24 mpaka tunafanya ile kitu, but like the videos on all our platforms. All right, nimefanya hivyo good year. All right. Black na Alex, you guys, hii vita yetu naona itaendelea for quite some time now. We are now 3 hours in. I think Alex kumepeana your closing remark. Mr. G, ulikuwa umesema anything as your closing remark? Oh, Mr. G says
Okay, niko mahali nimeshika kiasi. Jex, just I'm on the middle of something. No, I'm in the middle of something. Just continue. Kuna kitu namalizia hapo.
Sawa. So thank you guys very much. We will continue with this fight and the debate and many other conversations, especially of such nature, kwa hii show and other show that happens here at Afrique 24. So do what? Kindly share, subscribe, and be part of this great conversation that happens here at Afrique 24. This was the morning edition that now turned to be the afternoon one, but ni sawa, tunashukuru. I saw somewhere good akiuliza for more hours. We wadau, man, tunawachapa usiku na morning. I don't know, but maybe we can begin an afternoon one and a late night one ya watu wa diaspora. Tutaangalia hiyo maneno, but Friday msikose kipindi moja fiti, kipindi moja ya watu wa kudate. I don't know if muli enjoy on Friday, but it's back this coming Friday and it will be an interesting one. Watch this even as we go on even as we head towards a nice break. All right. This will be happening this Friday, Bed of Roses. That's the show happening this Friday. Kindly make sure you tune in to Bed of Roses. Hii ni show moja fiti happening here at Afrique 24 with able host wakidiscuss mambo na mapenzi Wewe ambaye roho imevunjwa vibaya sana, usijali. Hii show, I'm telling you, you will enjoy what they'll be discussing. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. where we discuss Bed of Roses. They look at singles, those married, those divorced, those separated. Wewe ambaye uko na ex alikufanya ile kitu, yule alikula fair and all that. Kindly make sure you tune in to Bed of Roses this Friday, all right? All right, listen to this.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru, Bed of Roses. Promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there. Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru, Bed of Roses. Promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.
All right. So make sure you catch that program this Friday. It will be epic. I'm telling you. These guys are doing ile kitu. I'm telling you. These guys wanafanya ile kitu. So make sure you tune in to Bed of Roses kwa sababu wadau, hii show lazima mtapenda. Hii show itawa nice. Hii lazima itawa nice. So Friday 8 p.m. hapa Africa 24. Hiyo ni show moja safi sana. Show fiti ilianza last Friday, ifuate hapa Africa 24. Inaweza kosa kuwa kwa other channels. So what do you do ndio usikose hiyo kipindi? Subscribe to Africa 24. Kimbia hapo YouTube, subscribe to Africa 24 and make sure you hit that notification bell so that Friday saa 2, wadau, Friday saa 2, you don't want to miss that one, with a good panelist from MCJC, Maggie Knox, and of course Anne, watakufanyia ile kitu. These guys, hey, Friday walifanya mambo, maswali kibao, all right, so come in, be prepared to be educated, entertained, and informed. Usiogope kuuliza swali, usiogope kushare in. They will really try to explain and express themselves, Find out mbona mademu wanafanya ile kitu, majamaa huku nje wanaumia, wana complain, wana lament, vile wamefanywa ile story na mabinti, but sawa, we love our ladies equally, we love our gentlemen, of course, with the increase on femicide and all. So let's have a great debate and discussion there at Bed of Roses. We have marriages that are not working. Let's discuss all that in the show that premiered last Friday, and we have another one happening this Friday. Usikose. Please book a date with us. Asante sana for tuning into Africa 24. This was the morning show. All right, this was the morning edition. We looked at the newspaper and other news making headlines. See you in the evening, saa 4 kamili. Hakikisha hauguzi mitambo. Keep it here at Africa 24. Make sure you subscribe to Africa 24. Make this your #1 channel. Subscribe. Africa is the place to be. Africa is the channel to watch. Africa is the place you subscribe again and again and again. Hii channel ni fiti sana mpaka you can unsubscribe and subscribe again. Yani ni tamu mpaka unaweza subscribe mara kadha wa kadha. Subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Africa 24. Subscribe to Afrique 24 and let this be your #1 channel. Thank you so much. Like our videos, share, subscribe, and let us keep the conversation going. I've been your host, Jex, the moderator. See you at 10 p.m. Masaa yetu ya kazi. All right. Bye-bye. God bless you. Have a fantastic evening and morning and day and if it's night, good night. If it's morning, good morning. Whatever time it is from all parts of the world, asante sana for tuning in to Afrique 24. Bye-bye. See you. Good day.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Twaenda mbio, Kenya yaenda mbele. Kwa elimu twaenda mbele, matibabuni twaenda mbele, viwandani twaenda mbele, na mashambani twaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Ziwa la Victoria linaunganisha Kenya na Uganda, Kenya na Tanzania. Fika Mombasa, mito wa bahari, ogelea maji, jua tamu kuota. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu.
PPMC Production.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Twajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka. Kenya nchi yenye baraka. Kenya nchi yenye baraka. Kenya makao yetu ni nchi ya kupendeza, kamwe hatutaiacha. Kamwe Kenya hatutaiacha. Kamwe Kenya hatutaiacha. Mwenzangu, Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Mwenzangu, Kenya kipenzi cha Kenya.